last Tuesday night, Mother Nature intervened and cooled things off. The drivers are ready to run, but the weather just wouldn't cooperate. It's week number 8, and Legends are back on track.
You would have needed water wings and a snorkel to get around our quarter-mile Legends track. Tonight, no problems. We're going to have great racing weather here as we get set for round number 8 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hi, everybody. Ralph Shaheen with you once again, and yeah, we're going to get one in here.
Jarrett, Ricky Hendrick, and Morgan Shepherd Jr., and we'll give you a look at as many of the different cars and who they are in. Here's how they're going to line up. Morgan Shepherd Jr. will be on the inside of the front row with Barry Bodine alongside of him. Those are the 2 car numbers that they'll have. Then Matthew Bodine and the inside of row number 1, and then Ricky Hendrick might have a little advantage there because he gets to run a car that he races a lot in. Jason Jarrett's going to have to go against Kelly Earnhardt. She's pretty tough. Dale Earnhardt's going to have Kerry right alongside of him. So it could be a battle of Earnhardt's in the back row back there.
You know, I was with these kids last week when it was raining, and you could see the excitement in their eyes. They were all standing out in the rain getting wet. They wanted to race. They didn't care about the rain. So they're really excited about this race. And for these kids to show up, you know, just proves that they want to race, and they wanted to be here at Charlotte in these Legends cars. I know my 2 boys did. And last week we only had Kerry and Kelly and Dale Jr. Yeah. And this week they brought Kerry along. So
we picked up an Earnhardt on the way.
We sure did.
Right there's Kelly Earnhardt, 59. She's driving Tommy Pistone's car. She runs late model stocks at Myrtle Beach, Florence Speedway a lot.
Yeah. Here comes the green. There's some sneaky moves being laid out early on. Look at that.
Watch out.
64.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was an Earnhardt.
Yeah, hitting a Bodine. We've seen that before.
That's been done at Charlotte before.
I wasn't going to go there, but if you care to, Doug.
Well, the number 70, that's Kerry Earnhardt.
Well, and it was Dale Jr., the 64 in Punchy Whitaker's car that came flying up the bottom groove there.
I saw the 19 of Jason Jarrett there.
And that's Rick Hendrick.
Well,
in
that's
the 1H.
Barry Bodine right there in the 99.7.
That's Dale Jr. in that blue and white car having trouble getting it turned in there. And he hits into the 78, which is Morgan Shepherd Jr. And, of course, your son Barry, Jeff, in the 99.7 car. Here's the other problem. The 1 car, which is your other boy, had trouble over in turn 3.
Well, it looks like he had a tire rubbing, and he got in there a little deep, standing on the throttle. That's Matthew. He doesn't let off till he hits something.
Luckily, he had a lot of room to drive off there, Jeff.
Right.
The one that came out on top of all of that was the 70 of Kerry Earnhardt. It was the one that came out of it in front of your boy. Those 2 got through all the trouble at the beginning. And there's your son climbing out of the car. Well, what do you think down there, Mark?
What it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Punchy Whitaker car. He looks okay. He's taking a fast lap here, and everybody has to duck as they're trying to get 1 car off the racetrack. He was trying to make sure that car was okay. Nice political answer, just like Dad would have done. Let's go back to the green flag.
He tap danced around that one pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah, a little better start this time. Let's see. They're going to make it through this first corner just barely.
And your boys out front. Look at that.
Yeah, go, Matthew. Ricky Hendrick, he had a little problem in that corner, got a little sideways. Let's see what happens here in turn 3.
Dale Jr. is in the inside of Punchy Whitaker's car.
Of course, Dale Jr. made his Busch Grand National debut not long ago down at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Had a pretty good day, too.
Those 2 get together a little bit. Ricky Hendrick's going to slide up, and now the 70 of Kerry Earnhardt spins out over in turn 2. We keep racing. Now Matt has troubles over in turn 4.
Oh, yeah.
That's a replay of what happened a bit earlier, I'm afraid.
Well, you know, I've driven these cars one other time. I'm going to drive a little later tonight. They have a lot of power, and really got to know how to handle that power. And Matthew never has been in one, so he's learning real quick.
Well, we got a We got a couple of Earnhardts and a Hendrick up front here. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not surprised to see Ricky Hendrick up front because he's been out here running weekly with these cars, and as Jeff said, it's tough to get a feel for him. So any advantage in seat time is definitely going to come out to play here, and Ricky Hendrick having a good run up front. That's Dale Jr. right behind him, and Kerry coming up from behind in the 50, or Kelly, I should say, coming up from behind in the 59.
Yeah, those boys better be looking in their mirrors because Kelly is hanging right with him, and a little slip, he should be right up in amongst them.
Now the 64 there, Dale Earnhardt Jr., looks like maybe the hood might be coming loose. It looked like it was popping up the last time around.
Yeah, it looks like it's loose on one of the corners, huh? Maybe.
The left rear corner looked like it was flapping a little bit. Now it's kind of settled down. He's letting Ricky Hendrick know he's back there.
He's using that $28 bumper, isn't he?
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, he's trying to get a shot underneath him.
Well, now,
you can tell both these fellas have raced quite a bit.
Jeff, Doug has a theory on that. He says as long as you hit the guy square with the bumper, it's legitimate. If you start getting into the inside corner, the outside corner, and hooking them, then it's a problem.
I've heard that before.
Do you buy off on that?
I've heard that before.
I guess that depends which end of the bumper you're on, doesn't it, Jeff?
Yeah.
I guess so.
If you're the bumpy or the bumper.
Well, now they're getting ready to lap the 70 of Kerry Earnhardt. So Kerry goes down a lap.
You know what we need to explain a little bit here. Some of these cars are set up a little bit better than others, and it looks like Kerry doesn't have a very well set up car. He's in a lot of trouble. Kelly, she's still hanging with those front two guys, with Ricky Hendrick and her brother Dale Jr.
Well, Ricky Hendrick's got the advantage in the sense he's got tons of seat time. He's been running the series all last year and he's well into it this year, so he has a big advantage of seat time in these cars.
In these cars, but I watched Dale Jr. run Myrtle Beach in that Busch race, and I'll tell you what, that boy is real talented. And so he's pretty experienced too, but you can see right now Ricky's pulling a little gap on him. He might have a little better setup in his car, but Dale isn't letting him get ahead too far.
Jeff, how about your boys? You want them to go down this road?
I don't know if I have a choice. As a parent, you just want your kids to, one, do something productive in life and get through life without any major problems and do something they enjoy. And it's pretty obvious my boys, like the Earnhardt kids, and like the Jarretts and the Shepherds and Ricky Hendrick, they enjoy auto racing, and there's Matthew having fun.
Sawing at the wheel right there.
He's going to school, and let's see, is he going to save it? He saved it. That was a heck of a job.
That was a great save. Now he's battling with an Earnhardt. He's got Kerry Earnhardt just in front of him with 2 laps to go.
So there's Matt Bodine, Kerry Earnhardt in the 70.
And I'll guarantee you after this race, every one of these kids are going to say, let's do it again.
Absolutely. Well, there's your leader right there with 1 lap to go. Ricky Hendrick out in front. And the 78 getting a little wide. That's Morgan Shepherd Jr.
Whoa, he got a real good look at the front bumper of Dale Earnhardt Jr. too.
You know, I keep calling these kids, but they're really not kids. They're all young adults.
Checkered flag falls for Ricky Hendrick. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes home in 2nd, and Kelly Earnhardt comes home in 3rd. Well, Jeff, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be talking to you a little bit here as we get set for you and Chad Little to battle it out in the Home Depot Challenge.
All right, I'll be down there. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to have to go down to pits and I think fix that car Barry was driving. So I'll see you guys later.
Jeff,
All
thanks
right.
a bunch.
Well, stay with us. We're going to be coming back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway and talking to the winners for our NASCAR Generations race. Stay with us.
Because these folks' daddy is home sore today. Okay, so I know you want to tell him hello.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hi, Dad.
All right.
Well.
Okay, good job. Good job. Y'all did a good job tonight.
All right, Humpy Wheeler's trying to steal my job, I think. Ricky Hendrick first. Dale Jr. here just wore you out there for a while.
Yeah, man, he scared the crap out of me. I mean, the whole time he was right on my back. I was like, oh, Lord, I got to protect my inside and try to be as smooth as I can. And, yeah, I slipped up a couple of times, and, oh, that was the worst feeling. I thought he was going to get right up underneath me. But, yeah, I mean, that was a great race, you know. something happened at the beginning right there, the first turn. I thought, oh Lord, you know, here goes everything. You know, everything's all tore up. But you know, we turned around, got right back in it, and got thank Hendrick Motorsports and all the guys over there. And sorry about the car. We'll see if we can fix it for the feature.
Now, speaking of what happened on the opening lap, Dale Jr., tell us what happened there.
I just saw the lead and had to go for it. I'm used to driving them late models in the corner wide open. You can't do it with these Legend cars, and it's just a freak accident. Again, I hate it for Barry because I know he had a good car. He was running good in practice, and John Boy and everybody else there. But I want to congratulate Ricky. He drove a smooth race. I gave him all I could give him, all I know, all I've learned, and he held me off and drove off from me there at the end. He's a real smooth driver.
All right, one word, Kelly Earnhardt, third place. Not a bad run.
We had fun. That was a lot of fun. I just said a while ago, Dale Earnhardt don't know it, but he's going to be buying a Legend car. Want to say hey to all the fans, and thanks for coming out, and thanks for you guys watching on TV, and we just had a great time. We'll have to do this again.
All right, which one of you guys finished fourth? Raise your hand. Who did it? Who did it? Nobody knows. We talked to Jason before. We talked to Kerry. Morgan Shepherd Jr., how did you want to do this again?
Sure, I had a good time. I don't know where I finished, though.
Say fourth.
Fourth? Sounds good to me.
I tell you what, they all had a great time, and just about anybody who gets a chance to drive these Legends cars, whether it's the Cup drivers or something like this, they always end up selling more Legends cars. Everybody gets hooked on this. Guys, back upstairs. It was a great race.
All right, Mark, thanks a lot. It was racing for you tonight. Semi-pros for all those drivers that are pretty much about halfway through in their career. E.B. Jackson and Mark Doby up on the front row. Timothy Peters has been up in the thick of the points chase in the Wizard of Boom.
John Freeman.
Yeah. Barry Bodine's going to get another crack at it, the 44C. And David Tucker. Johnny Sossman's been running pretty good this summer.
Graduated up from Chargers earlier this year.
And that's right. The female on the field, Frances Roster, in the .08. And you take a look back through the rest of the field, all the way through Jimmy Guthrie and Ryan Zeck back in row 12. And another one of the Bodines, Barry and Ricky Hendrick in the H1, if they were able to make the call. It looks like they were able to. Points for the semi-pro division look a lot like this. Wizard of Boom up on top by 3. Timothy Peters still in the thick of things, and it looks like it's going to be settled by those 3 at this point.
And Greg Herlocker hanging around there in 5th place in the points. And there we get a good look at Greg's car, number 18, out of Midland, North Carolina, not too far away from the Speedway. Probably a little bit late in the season, though, for him to make a charge, but he could still get point money. Food Line's got $11,000 up for grabs.
Here comes a green flag for the first race of the night. Looks like everybody gets through turns 1 and 2, but not much farther than that, and we hit them together pretty hard.
Freeman's in there skittering around, but
looks like Todd Laney and a couple others.
I think Todd Laney got the worst of that. He got up against the wall pretty hard, and there may be at least one other car there.
Freeman got hit pretty good. That, I believe, is Laney's car there, is it not?
Ralph, from this angle, I honestly can't tell. There's
Jeff Turner.
Jeff Turner, he's off in the grass, so he's out of it.
No, it was the other 17. That is the machine of David Tucker.
You see John Freeman get sideways, and then David Tucker collected Freeman while he was out in the middle of the track, and that's what shoved his nose into the wall.
But look at that. Freeman escapes uninjured.
Well, for John, that's a big deal. He really, really wants to win this semi-pro championship, and David Tucker really, really wants to get his car fixed so he can come back next week.
Well, let's check in with Mark Garrow downstairs and see how things are going.
I tell you what, we're making heroes out of groups of people during the Legends car racing this year, and I use that sort of as a pun because we have Hank's Heroes, we have the Pistone Posse. Well, now from Hillsville, North Carolina, we have the Hillsville Herd. Of course, they've got the let's scratch the old Pistone Posse Hank's Heroes t-shirt here. Now that Hillsville Herd, that is the Austin boys that run that deal. They've got 5 or 6 guys out of Hillsville, North Carolina. Ronnie Austin, Jason Austin, Wayne Austin, a couple of other guys run with them as well. And they decided, like, hey, if everybody's got a name, we want to. Hank of Hank's Hero, what do you think of the Hillsville Herd now coming up with their own t-shirt?
Well, I think it's great, but I think they maybe got started just a little late in this program. I believe they're going to be bringing up the rear.
I tell you what, it's kind of fun. Everybody's sort of locking onto this, trying to come up with a name with a group of people that they race with every week to come up against the Pistone Posse and Hank's Heroes.
Yeah, you guys up in the booth really did a good job on this deal. Come up with a lot of nicknames for us that we probably wouldn't have came up with. We're just racing, having a good time, but right now we're counting numbers, and we're about 2 behind on the Pistone Posse, but we plan on making it up tonight.
Since we get so much credit for this, Hank, is there a commission of some sort for T-shirt sales?
Well, yeah, but I'm still waiting on my commission for the Wrecker Boy T-shirts.
All 12 that we sold. Let's go back upstairs.
He actually sold 12 of those?
No, I lied. I actually had to give them away. Actually, I had to pay people to wear them.
Yeah, and his family's never forgiven him.
That's right. Well, I guess if all those guys have had names, we should probably name the 3 of us. What do we call ourselves? The 3 Amigos?
Ooh, too easy. If we are, I want the Steve Martin role. if we, you know, Three Stooges is a little too easy, though.
Yeah, probably more appropriate, but a little too easy.
There's Jeff Turner, not where he wanted to be, and we were talking about
replacing. Mr. Parts, how much does that cost?
Well, let me see, $15 ball joint, and you get a trade-in on your $105 spindle. Only looking at about $125, $135.
You pay me now, or you can pay me later.
Just go see them over in the parts truck. They'll take care of you.
And they do have a parts truck here, just like they do at the Winston Cup races. Folks have put together a actual complete parts truck. You can walk in that thing and you could, I would say, at least build a couple of cars complete of all the parts that are inside the parts truck.
Everything we showed in the opening, all the common parts that get bent and nicked, you can go ahead and buy those pretty easy.
We're back to green. The Wizard of Boom on the outside, and we got another one around the 18. That's your buddy Herlocker.
Jeff Herlocker looking the wrong way. He's still looking the wrong way. We're going to have to toss out the yellow one more time here.
And it's kind of like they talk about the superstition of when you appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated the next week, everything goes bad in your sports career. And Doug Rice talks about you on the air before you race. Everything goes bad for you from there.
If we ISO on you, you're in trouble.
Here's a look at Herlocker's spin. He's one of those red cars right there going around, the first one. Timothy Peters was right behind him.
The remarkable thing there is that nobody else got collected up in that. He turned it around right in the middle of traffic in the apex of the turn. Everybody goes around on both sides, and there you get a look at one of the members of the Pistone Posse there in the little light blue cars that flashes in front. Now we have 3 confederations of drivers. The Hillsville Herd. Got to put a big buffalo on that T-shirt. Got to do that.
Well, there are more things that are herded up than just buffalo.
Well, that's true. But I'm thinking of things that probably work well with racing. I mean, you could go with antelope, but I don't think that works quite.
Things stacking up again. But this time, it's clean. Oh, but maybe not for long. By the time we get to turn 3, it gets pretty interesting. E.B. Jackson all over the place. Now white with the red numeral 23. Nobody on the outside in the 43. And one of the Pistone cars, Nick Pistone, who's been a lead runner for the Pistone Posse all summer long.
That's some good talent up there. E.B. Jackson hanging on in that 23 machine. Gets Dobie to the outside, and Pistone gets wrapped in the rear end pretty hard by Timothy Peters.
They've been using that $28 bumper pretty heavily tonight.
Leaned on it. There's Austin in the 44. So
he's a herd member, isn't he?
He is. I think he's the head of the herd. He gets to wear the big hat. And Nicky Pistone now ready to make his move and get around E.B. Jackson. Hey, where did he get that little boost there? Must have turned on the nitrous. No, I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have Tiger Tom.
The one who said cards and letters to that remark. His name was Doug Rice, R-I-C-E. Jackson, boy, whoa. Got a little trouble getting that 23 out of turn 4 when he plants his foot into the gas, doesn't he?
Wiggling awfully hard on him, and that really has opened it up for Pistone there.
Well, he's slowing everybody up behind him because they have to give him a chance to catch the car. There's Herlocker. Struggling in the 18 still.
A little bit of a moving chicane right there coming out of 4. Caution.
Boy, you're very complimentary tonight.
Been in that mood today.
You have.
Sorry.
I'm telling you. Guys, a moving chicane. Who's hit the nitrous? Boy, you're just...
I'm going to work all of these out in the semi-pro.
Please.
I'll bring out the nice guy in a little while.
There's Nick Pistone in the 59. Well, Mark Garrow's still roaming down on the pit area. Mark, what you got for us now?
Ready to go. Over here, this sleek number 43 of Barry Graham, the pole sitter. It's pretty. It's all polished. We go over here to the outside of row 1, and here is this beat-up race car of Dr. Mark Moskowitz. Thing is rust. When was the last time you painted this thing?
Well, it was earlier this season. Can you hear me at all through this?
I can hear you.
Sounds good. Raced at a dirt track Saturday night at Least Lincoln Speedway, and we really haven't had a chance to clean it up since.
Now, this is one of the first Legends cars, correct?
Car number 17.
And that was an awful long time ago, folks. You can tell. I mean, the door's rusted. I mean, everything's been up. But he's on the outside pole, and it runs pretty darn good still. Let's go back upstairs.
Boy, he's been listening to you a lot tonight. He starts off his interviews real complimentary as well. Look at this old beat-up race car.
Dr. Mark Moskowitz there. He is a surgeon in real life.
Timothy Peters in that red 77, trying to find a way around Jackson, whose car finally gets through the turn a little bit better over there in the white 23. Nobody really able to do anything with Pistone right now. That's Jerry Dickerson in the 90, battling with Austin in the 44. That is the fight for fourth.
Austin, 44, Jerry Dickerson, the 90, battling for fourth. That's Timothy Peters in the 77 Coca-Cola car right in front of him. Austin distancing himself now.
And Sossaman in the 14 was in there, and I think he is right up in the middle of that fight with Dickerson in there.
E.B. Jackson there in the 23. Wayne Austin trying to work on him and Jerry. If Wayne can open up the hole, I think him and Dickerson can both get under E.B. in the 23 car.
Well, the problem is I can't get E.B. offline far enough. He's fighting to keep the thing under control, but he's doing it right on the racing grooves. Neither one of them seems to be able to do a whole lot with it.
Well, Wayne and Jerry are both pretty heavily involved in the point situation, so they've got to make that consideration tonight. Do you risk, turning your car around, late enough in the year now that you've got to think about those kind of things.
There's Sossman in the white 14 just behind Dickerson. He's caught up into this group. There he is.
Well, Wayne Austin in the 44 is second in points. He's really only 3 points back of John Freeman.
There he goes.
Freeman got in a little altercation earlier tonight.
There you go. They come together, and that takes Austin and E.B. out of it.
Well, for E.B., it's not a points deal, but for Austin, it was definitely a points killer.
And the yellow flag comes out. Those two right alongside of each other. They can discuss this if they care to. Nobody bothering to look at each other. There we go. Now what?
Hey,
your
what
fault.
happened?
No, your fault.
So let's just sit here a while.
Wayne's taking the steering wheel off. He can't go anywhere. Here's a look at it. Well, I think Wayne figures he was inside him far enough that E.B. shouldn't have turned down into him. I'm sure E.B. figures it a little differently than that.
We'll get a look at this angle here and see how
Well, the rule of thumb is that if you're alongside the guy, if you're halfway up to his door, the lane is yours.
Yep.
So the question becomes, and it becomes a very subjective one depending on which side of the crash you're on, as to whether or not you had reached the other guy's door. And a green flag with our semi-pro division.
Taking a look back in the field. John Freeman trying to work his way back up through. He should want to. He's the points leader.
Here comes Jerry Dickerson on the backside of E.B. Jackson. Johnny Sossman behind him. There's the Wizard of Boom. John Freeman, the 5F.
And the reason we call him the Wizard of Boom.
That's Clay Watts just in front of him. Go ahead, tell us.
He runs several stereo stores, and he has a Legends car that's essentially a giant boombox in itself.
Going back to the front now as Nick Pistone comes to the line. There are 2 laps to go. So you heard Hank Jones, the head of Hank's Heroes, talking about how they were going to try to catch to the Pistone posse, and Johnny Sossaman spins out.
Well, if this keeps going, Hank's Heroes will post a 0 here. Chalk one up.
White flag. It doesn't look like anybody is going to be able to catch Nick Pistone. Timothy Peters in the 77 hanging in there in second. It's going to help him out in the points.
He's third right now, so he'll be the big winner out of this point-wise.
Nick Pistone gets the win. Timothy Peters gets second. And E.B. Jackson has an event-filled semi-pro feature race, but he comes home with third, just in front of Jerry Dickerson. So Nick Pistone pulls the car over to the tech area where he will get a quick check over to make sure everything is legal. The P's Doug Rice. We'll be right back.
Every day.
Luckily, I won't be giving you $3 million anytime soon. As you take a look at the results from the semi-pro feature, Nick Pistone was the winner. Jerry Dickerson, as we showed you, crossing the line, and Clay Watts was able to take advantage of some problems for others like Johnny Sossman to come home and take over.
Well, John Freeman finished out of the top 5. That's going to hurt him tonight in that points battle. And could shake things up when it's all said and done.
Another points battle developing in the Masters division as you take a look at it. Barry Graham and Mark Moskowitz on the front row. James Hines, boy, what a frustrating year he's had. He'll be on the outside of row 3. Mike White on the inside. Punchy Whitaker's car was beat up earlier on tonight, but he is back out in row 5.
Richard Hinson, Fred Brown, there's Ralph Medlin, Bud Lewis, Bill Berry.
Haven't seen Bill around here for a while this summer. He came out earlier on in the season, and good to have him back here.
Cotton Spry, one of the top contenders. He's been doing real well, but he's way back in the mix tonight.
And the points, we told you there was a points battle developing here. Look at 2 cars tied for second. And really, just about everybody in that top 5 is still pretty much in this one.
They could all make a move. We'll see what happens. When you got Mike White rested in 5th, he's a guy capable of coming up through there.
Well, the green is out, and we're racing. Hank Jones trying to get to the inside. It's Barry Graham out front. Mark Moskowitz running second. Hank Jones sits back in third. That Valvoline Sports Design Bojo Markets number 6.
Hank, of course, the patriarch, so to speak, of Hank's heroes, hanging in there in the number 6 car.
Hank doing a good job racing that number 6. It's actually got a little 6 junior alongside of it. Hank, of course, owns Sports Design, which handles all the merchandising for Mark Martin. That's why the junior on alongside of it. And Mike White in the number 7 comes up to challenge that 33 car as they try to get to the inside of him. That's the 33W, Bill Irwin. Oh, Moskowitz has trouble in front, and Jones going to slide to the outside. Hank's going to take over second. Good move.
Hank Jones slides around, makes a good, pretty bold move there. I don't think Hank's got a feature win this year.
No, he's led a few. He has not been able to come home with a victory.
And I know Barry Graham hadn't won this year. He hadn't been near winning. He's had a tough go of it this year, but got a pretty comfortable pad right now.
Mark Moskowitz is having some troubles in that 12. Everybody trying to figure out how to get around him. Mike White's on the outside. He's going to get squeezed up along the wall, and here comes Rene Dakota to the bottom.
Woo! He must have known how much room was in that hole. He got it to fit in there. James Hines right there in the mix also, the white car, the number 11 machine.
Whoa, and you see Dakota gets into Mike White, and that's going to hurt Mike. James Hines slides by him. Remember, all those guys, including Punchy Whitaker, who now slides in there, all those guys are battling in the points chase, and Punchy loses it on the front straightaway. He's into the infield. There he is.
Punchy loaned out one of his cars earlier tonight for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Is that who drove his car tonight?
Yeah. Dale went flying down to the inside, remember?
Finished second in it.
Crashed it. Here's your battle for second. Hank Jones and Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin, Hank Jones battling for second and third there. And Barry Graham is distancing. Got a little distance between him and second place.
He sure does.
This is by far and away the best that Barry Graham, who Mark Garrow interviewed a moment ago.
There's Mike White in that 7 trying to fight back up into it. He's going to go 3 wide with Rene Dakota and the 47 car of Lamont Brown. That's a fight for 7.
Mike usually sets his car up to come in better as the race goes on, but he's not allowed. The car is so bottled up in traffic here, he can't get really free to get a good feel of the track. and it's hurting him.
It's got to be frustrating for him, too, because he knows he has got to get up there. Mike Hughes in the 5M in the middle of all that. Those guys putting a whole lap around the quarter mile side by side. Good, close racing here tonight. The Food Line Summer Shootout Series, and nobody making contact. Finally now, Mike will clear himself from that, and he can go after Mark Moskowitz again.
He's got to go after the good Dr. Mark Moskowitz. Mark Moskowitz is the yellow car. Mark Garrow pointed out, one of the number 17, and that's pretty significant. It's the 17th car made in the Legend Series, especially when you consider now there have been over 1,600 of them manufactured.
That was Al Mitchell on the 9. You saw the red car sliding in there. Brake carries in the 13 behind them. Good fight going on. There's the green 13 to carry.
And Al Mitchell been at this a while, and Brake carries in his second year.
Point leader back there as well, John Smith machine.
Barry Graham working through traffic, moving around Steve Childers there. The Aussie has set sail tonight. He is really moving on.
Charles Rush next to come victim to the leader.
Well, maybe Barry ought to get on the pole more often. It has proved very profitable so far.
Well, Barry, you know, in the first 2 seasons of the Summer Legend Shootout Series, would run with us every week and always did well. This year he's been here sporadically, just once or twice, and has really struggled. Look at this battle. They all get around Mark Moskowitz. Mike White loses a spot in the process to that 5 car of Mike Hughes.
So Mike White back there battling with Mike Hughes, just trying to pick up some positions, trying to get back up to form. And Mark Moskowitz not wanting to give up any spots either.
Don't forget, this is round number 8. It's a 10-race series. And so none of these guys can afford to lose points. There's Hank Jones still trying to hang on to second place as the 33 car, Bill Irwin out of Statesville, closes in on him. Now, Hank spends a lot of time with Brooks and Dunn, who are big fanatics when it comes to Legends cars. Kix Brooks and Ronnie Dunn, those guys love it. They're good buddies of Hank's, and the 3 of them spend a lot of time tooling around in these race cars.
Yeah, it's their golf game. By the way, Ralph, it's really come down to a 9-race series now if you look at last week. That's right. Because last week washed out, and they won't make that up. Must be trouble somewhere.
Yes, over in turn 3.
Ray Carey in the 13 and Richard Henson in the 20. Locked noses here. Looking eyeball to eyeball, and Barry says that big lead is all gone now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out now. I don't know if Barry's going to have anybody between him and Hank.
Carey and Henson able to roll away after that's done. Didn't look like much damage to the car.
Well, Bray's got a fender loose in the right rear.
Yep. See where it's fractured there.
What's that going to cost him?
$75. If he has to get a new one. I bet you that one doesn't have to be replaced.
He can handle it. Well, we've got a chance now to go back downstairs.
We beat the top 2 finishers that are in front of us in the points. So, but you know, I'd like to thank Coca-Cola, J&K Screen Print, Autovilla. I'd like to say hey to the guys back home at Jarrett Weldon watching, and Sunox. Without all them, Carl wouldn't be here right now.
All right, we're back under green, guys.
That absolutely killed Hank Jones. Hank had second all locked up right there in that number 6 car, and then he got passed by both James Hines in the 11 and the 33 car that is now in second, Bill Irwin.
And to make matters worse, he has his teammate Mike White working all over him now, so that was not a very good yellow flag for Hank Jones.
And all that did was allow Barry Graham as well to pull away. So the fight on the racetrack is now going to be for second as Mike White now gets to the inside of Hank.
Mike's really fighting the steering wheel there. You got a peek at it just a moment ago. He's working that car. It's not set up like he wants it. Bill Irwin in the 33. We'll give a little salute to him tonight. Good run for him.
White flag is out. 1 more to go. Barry Graham looks like he's going to get his first feature win of the night. Irwin doing everything he can to hang on to second place, but look at James Hines. Fakes to the outside, dives to the bottom. They get together. Boy, that's going to change some things up. James is out of the running, and there's another spin. Hank Jones gets spun, and we got a car upside down coming out of turn 4. I think that's our points leader.
I think that's John Smith, number 21, Captain John Smith.
That is upside down.
And all of that got started when one car, James Hines, spun around, and then there were secondary accidents.
He's trying to climb out. There he is.
And he is. John Smith is going to come out of that car. The camera was
not upside down. One of the other drivers rushing over to help him out, and I think he's pretty shaken up. Frightening, of course.
Well, that's got to be disorienting to get upside down that quick, and he also licked the wall pretty good, and that is
Hank Jones's car was over there.
Smith.
John Smith was in there. Is that the 14 of Renee Dakota down there as well? Hard to tell from here. But John is up and walking around, and that is good to see.
The EMTs come over, and of course there's always 2 fully staffed ambulances here with emergency medical technicians. There's Barry Graham.
And Tiger Tom Pistone over to shake his hand. Yes, very good to see. And Barry Graham is credited with the win, and of course that shook everything up as it came to the line. So Mike Wyke actually is going to benefit out of this deal, because a lot of the guys that he was dealing with in the points chase now, Doug, did not come out of this with any points, including John Smith. Mike Hughes does get some points, and Mike should be able to pick some up as Renee Dakota does not cross the line.
What it'll do, it'll make things a lot more fun.
10-round series. Here's a grid for the Pro Division. John Craig and Doc Brewer will share the front row. Another one of the Pistone posse. Tom Pistone up inside row number 2 with Hoyt Demas on the outside. Brian Sockwell and Doug Vandenbrink, 2 of them been running strong this season, and Tommy Rape has always been a contender week in and week out. Chuck Cafaro, he's always around, and Daryl Jackson and Greg Schultz, 2 more of the guys who we've seen up front week in and week out. Clay Hare's got a win. G.E. Chapman, the reigning champion. Rest of the field, Eddie Baldwin, David Wagner back row 10, and Matt Mullins and Ronnie Dean Austin round out the field.
You pay for winning, though. Clay Hare won our last time, and you get kicked to the back of the field. Here's points.
This one pretty much a battle for everything beyond the lead. Greg Schultz, if he can stay the way he's been, has pretty much got this locked up, I think. But that battle for third and maybe even for second should be pretty interesting as we work our way through the end of the year.
John Crow and Brian Sockwell, 2 guys who've gone on to race in bigger divisions. There's Doc Brewer. Doc Brewer originally got into this setting up cars for John Boy and helping him out. And this year, of course, he's part of Hank's Heroes with the Real Tree deal. But Doc Real, I don't know if we should be grateful or not that he helped radio personality John Boy start Legends car racing.
Well, we're going to see John Boy again. In fact, next weekend, next Tuesday, we'll see John Boy battling with Ernie Irvin.
The return, the match.
Second
John Boy and Ernie 2. That'll be fun.
Pro Division underway. Everybody out of the first 2 turns and storming down the backstretch. Pistone in the taxi to the bottom side. He's in third.
They do a good job. These pro drivers, I say that, it'll all break loose here. But normally this class, it's around here with the fewest amount of cautions, can drive the closest for longer periods of time.
John Craig is out front. Doc Brewer runs second. That's Pistone right behind him in third. And that 23.5 of Hoyt Demas, the pig car, runs in fourth.
Hoyt Demas?
Oh, there's one around in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, everybody does a nice job of getting around him.
Looks like Chuck Cafaro had some problems. Is that the 77 in there? Good.
John Craig up front still leading the way.
Yeah, Chuck was in the middle of that, the 77, and one other car. That black and yellow car is the 04, and guess who that is? Tommy Rabe.
Of course, Chuck Cafaro is sponsored by Jasper Engines, same people on Bobby Hillen's car.
Tommy, of course, the man who is second in points, he gets hit by Chuck, and that sends him around, and then he comes back around and collects Chuck.
Kevin Conway did a good job in the 07 machine of not getting tangled up and all that. The black and silver car, he made a nice little move.
I think that's going to be one of the most frightening kinds of accidents when you get spun around like that. You know the entire pack is right on your heels.
Well, for the potential there, never lived up to the reality. Everybody able to get out of the way. Keep going on here.
Brian Sockwell is in, what? Look at that, under yellow. What was that all about?
Of each other.
And it did some damage to Daryl Jackson.
Daryl Jackson there.
He's done.
Yep.
Was that Jack Kumpata he got together with, the 10?
He ran upon somebody's wheel, and then all of a sudden, I mean, that was under caution. Little brain fade, I guess, on somebody's
Well, wait till Jackson gets into the gas and tries to figure out what's wrong. Watch this. The white car's in the back of the frame here. Right to the right. Here it comes. He just goes right up and over him. That's all Daryl Jackson.
And Darrell's, he'll be out tonight.
84 car, it looks like, of Wayne Sharp that he went over.
Well, Wayne didn't back into him. So.
No, well, he's done. Once he gets on the gas, they need to black flag him off, Doug, because that car will not work at speed.
It will not steer.
There you go. They're trying to get him out of there.
Now, he may not be aware of how badly damaged that car is because he's not had it up to speed yet.
No, and he's not going to want to leave.
You got a good look at that right front wheel now.
That is not meant to work like that.
And a ball joint or the spindle under there one. Probably the upper ball joint's probably gone on that car. Darrell will take it back there. He's a tough competitor, though. He didn't come out here in that Bulls and had a car to run a couple of laps and have to go back to the garage.
He's sitting 13th in points coming into tonight.
He's had a tough year.
He has.
Him and his buddy James Hines are both really racing some tough luck.
Mark's got some information for us on Brian Sockwell for you.
The number is for you. It is now for sale. He says he can't run on the race weekends anymore. He only gets to run on Tuesday night, so he wants to get rid of a car or two. He also tonight wanted me to wish a happy anniversary to his wife, Janet. They're not newlyweds anymore. This is their second anniversary, so they don't have to spend it together, guys.
You go racing, a lot of anniversaries and birthdays here.
Well, our producer, Eric Swearingen, having a birthday downstairs in the truck.
How special.
Yeah.
Save some cake.
Green flag is waving.
There's Brian Sockwell in the 4U machine. Currently drives a lot on the NASCAR Goodies Dash series.
There's Scholes in the 32, who's the point leader, Greg. He behind him.
Sports some colors for Sam Bass, the artist on that car. And our leader, John Craig, and Doc Brewer going after him.
Well, he is, isn't he?
And Doc Brewer is a real doctor also. He does not play one on the racetrack. And Tommy Pistone the third back there in the taxi cab looking machine.
Everybody just kind of feeling this one out. Sliding to the outside, sliding to the inside, see if they can find an opening. But everybody pretty much holding to their lines here tonight. Nobody venturing out too far yet.
You don't usually see them come off the turn about 6 in a row like that. There's usually somebody making a move, going somewhere, trying to do something.
A lot of patience tonight so far. Clay Hare's trying to move around deep in the field. And here comes a Brewer. Now you're going to see some guys doing that, and that could be the one thing that makes a difference. We got a couple of cars around, including our points leader, Greg Scholes, and of course the 28 involved as well, Rob Anderson.
So Anderson and Scholes spin out. I don't think that's going to bring out the caution.
No, that's going to kill Greg Scholes in the points, though, isn't it?
Well, he's got a good enough lead that he has about a 50-point lead. I really don't think it's going to hurt him that bad. And Tommy Rape will probably have to come up the wind to really close down on him. Looking at your point leader there, I mean the race leader, John Craig, and Doc Brewer is in the 44 car, the white machine, and Tommy Pistone the third is in the 59. If he wins, we'll see the taxi cab light come on.
Right now, one of Hank's heroes in front of the Pistone posse member is Doc Brewer, holds on to second over Pistone.
And good run here tonight for Hoyt Demas in the 23.5 car. Right out of your picture there for a second. He creeps back into it. There he goes. Doug Vandenbrink is in the 5th place spot tonight.
Look at Clay here in the purple and yellow WCW car right there. Now Clay's done a good job battling up through the field, get himself in the thick of this.
Ralph, I don't remember seeing this good a fight with single car racing this close in front this year.
That's
6 or 7 cars.
It's first through 7.
Well, they're there. Anybody can make a move here. I don't think drafting's going to come into play, but it's what it looks like.
No, but one little hiccup, and somebody's going to pick up a handful of spots. Now, Clay goes to the outside of Sockwell. That would be for 6th. And the 07 gets into this as well, Kevin Conway.
So a lot of good talent up there, a lot of drivers that have won races here, put in a lot of miles, and this is a good show.
And what's amazing, Doug, is that all the cars are handling equally. The one thing we have found with this series is that running on the bottom is the quick way around, but not everybody is able to find the handling to get the car to handle on the bottom like that. But however, it looks like everybody's able to do it here tonight.
That's 23.5 is Hoyt Demas. He's in 4th. That's Doug Vandenbrink back there in 5th. John Craig is the leader. Oh, a little chain reaction bump there.
Well, you know, that's what we're talking about, Doug. As soon as one guy gets offline or gets bumped, it's going to be a domino effect back through the line, Conway to the inside of Clay. And if that happens far enough up in the line, there's going to be a big shuffle.
Kind of like firecrackers going off. One explosion just follows another. There's Conway in the 07. He's moved up a spot. Now, how much longer is Doc Brewer and Pistone going to be patient here? Somebody's going to have to pull out a line and make a pass. Or
well, if you're Doc Brewer, though, I think you're the last one to do that, and you save it for the last couple laps, because the one thing you don't want to do is get shuffled to the back of the line. So if you make the move now, you find yourself sitting back in 8th all of a sudden, and you're out of laps. If you do it on the last lap, maybe you only get moved back to 3rd.
Hoyt Demas there. He wants the Pistone car, the 59, to make a move to kind of open up the door for him.
Darrell Jackson has got his car fixed, and he's going to rejoin the fight. Of course, he is many laps down as he enters the racetrack.
Brewer had a look there to the inside, but he couldn't make up any ground. He couldn't punch it to move up in there and shut him down.
This is also allowing Tommy Rape and the 77 of Chuck Caffera to catch up to the backside of this pack as well now. So we have got about 1st through 10th.
We're locked in there. Tommy Pistone, he keeps working on the 44 there of Doc Brewer. He's hanging on to 2nd. Brewer has not really gone after Craig but one time here. He looked low, and that's been about it. He may not be able to go up and get to it.
Could be. Could be. Well, there are 2 laps to go. Next time by is a white flag. We're either going to see a lot of people fanning out, or everybody's pretty much maxed out and not going to be able to do a thing. I got a feeling you're going to see some bumping going into turn 3, though, next time by. There's the white flag. Okay, throw your cards on the table. This is round 8 of a 10-race series, so if you need points, you got to get them now. Here we go, down into turn number 3. Do they fan out? Do they get on the bumpers?
John Craig's going to win this.
So much for all that build-up of hype. 1, 2, 3, all the way back through 10. They follow each other across the line. John Craig gets the win. Doc Brewer gets 2nd. And 3rd goes to the Pistone machine. Tom Pistone the 3rd. I never would have figured they would have followed each other across the line. Stay with us. Winter interview coming up.
Are next here in the Summer Legends Shootout.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, what they're going to do is, we had so many Chargers cars, as you take a look at the grid as it scrolls across your screen, they have split the Charger division into 2 groups. They don't keep point totals in this division, so it doesn't really affect anybody that way, and they want to give everybody in the Charger division a chance to race so these guys can get as much track experience as they can. And, you know, just like any other racetrack, Doug, you can max out the amount of cars you can physically put on a particular venue and have good, clean racing.
Ralph, I got to applaud that for 2 reasons. One, if you try to cram all of these cars out here, you're just going to have a wreck fest. And second, it gives everybody lap time.
And thirdly, your check is signed by Humpy Wheeler. Okay, and on top of that, just kidding with you. Just
I'm trying to make these poignant things that have something to do with the broadcast.
Just kidding.
They keep fighting my way through this.
Anyway, they really have done a good job with this. And hopefully, if everything goes well, we're going to be able to show you both of them. They're going to cut it down to 15 laps as we go green with Charger race number 1.
Laps each year.
That's the Dobie car, the 42. He's really been pretty strong all summer long, too, hasn't he?
Yeah, the Dobie brothers have run well here this year. Roger Neal is in there.
He's your leader. And the 95 belongs to Greg Lawrence out of Monroe. Hopefully this one will go green to checker with some good racing, and we'll be able to squeeze both of these Charger races in for tonight. Here's a battle for 5th. The 7 car is Jacob Butner, and the 27 is Sammy Walker out of Concord, just about 5 minutes from the speedway here. And the 49, Neil Wellborn, in Trinity, North Carolina, that purple machine.
Steve Thompson's our leader, by the way. I think I may have called him Roger Neal. We both run 32. That's
Yep, that is Steve Thompson, the yellow one. I'm sorry. So here comes Dobie to the inside, and let's check in with Mark Garrow.
Little note on the leader, Steve Thompson. He might not be leading this race a whole lot longer as Dobie looks to the inside. He had special incentive to try to win tonight. His crew chief is his son, Kerry. He's 31 years old today, and Dad desperately wanted to get the checkered flag for his son tonight. It looks like he might not get it, but he certainly has enough time to come back.
Well, Brian Dobie gets around him, and he'll inherit the lead here. And coming up quick, it looks like, is Greg Lawrence.
Oh, the 60 car getting aggressive. That's Kurt Andrews. And a little hammering.
We don't get to see the Chargers run every week, and tonight they split the field, and there are a tremendous number of Charger entries here.
29 on the racetrack. That's John Burwell.
And the 95 of Greg Lawrence out of Monroe, North Carolina. Everybody's looking at the rear bumper, though, of Brian Dobie right now.
There's your battle for fifth. The 95 of Greg Lawrence and the 60 of Kurt Andrews. Dobie has won at least once this summer, and I
think so.
Is this going to be his third win? He's getting right on the edge of being kicked out of the Charger division.
If you win 3 Charger races, they move you on up, and you can pick whichever division above that you want to race in, and that's just so nobody can camp out there and be dominant.
Here's your battle for third.
And the 60 of Kurt Andrews back there letting him know he wants to take that space away.
Mal Pollard in the 7 getting into this as well, and he's a great story.
I think that's Jacob Butner, actually, Ralph.
No, the 7. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mal Pollard races the 6 Valvoline look-alike car.
Looking on the grid, and the right name corresponding to the number. 2 laps to go in this one. The battle for third continues.
It's pretty good. It's tightened up here. 3 cars going at it. Meanwhile, Brian Dobie is ridden away from the herd here to speak.
To the inside goes the 60, and he'll make the pass. Kurt Andrews takes the position as the white flag comes out. Now it's up to the 95 of Lawrence to try to get it back.
Don't think he's going to have enough time.
Here's Dobie to the checkered flag, and he'll get the win. And there's that battle for third. Finishes up that way with the 60 holding on. Kurt Andrews takes over third, and position is his. Stay with us. We're going to get our 5th feature race with the Legends cars in next when we come back to CMS. The bonus race and a green flag for you. We have split the Charger division into 2 heat races here tonight. This is the second one on its way, and Rick Bass in car number 92 jumps out in the lead. Now Rick is led. Oh, and we got contact.
52 of Ray Kelly there. There's the car you saw spin out and head into the outfield grass.
Well, the green flag is still out. They're going to keep racing.
Well, we've got 2 more spun around, though, and one of them is going to be the 23 John Deere machine.
Well, there's still no green, and that is Gary Cogswell, who is Chad Little's crew chief.
And, of course, Chad down there earlier tonight before he came up on our show, helping prepare the car and getting it race ready. Still no yellow, and that's good news for Rick Bass.
Well, we got to step away from this one for just a minute, but when we come back, hopefully we'll be able to show you the finish of race number 2 for the Charger division. We're back. Tolliver Smith out front as this one is under yellow. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring you the completion of this race as they're going to get it back under green. There's a look at the lineup for next week. Ernie Irvin and John Boy, the battle number 2. Dick Trickle and Kenny Schrader will be here for our Home Depot Challenge. We want to thank the folks at RaceScan for helping us communicate with Chad Little, who pulled off this maneuver in our Home Depot Challenge for the win tonight. For Mark Garrow, for Doug Rice, and all the kids that helped bring this to you. So long, everybody. See you next week.
The Legends Shootout Series all year long.
And we're green with it. Oh, we got some contact in the middle. Racing down the backstretch, and we're going to dive them hard into turn 3. Amazingly, everybody got through that. I thought we were about to see a big wreck there. That's the 680 car, Todd Gant out of Kannapolis, that we're watching in that aqua and white car, driving pretty aggressively, but Tom Van Wingerden.
Wingerden up against the wall right at the start and finish line, not where he wanted to be. That's got to bring out a yellow.
And does.
The nice little lead that number 95, Greg Lawrence out of Monroe, North Carolina, had collected is all gone. And there you see the fiberglass dinged in. He must have caught well, maybe somebody caught him and got him up to the wall.
Mark's got one of last week's winners with him that we didn't get a chance to talk to, Mark.
It was a great race, but we never got to see it because things ran long. Tolliver Smith got his first win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. How did that feel?
It felt real good, Mark.
Tell you what, after what happened to your dad going upside down, you sort of had to save the Smith name last week.
Yeah, Dad felt pretty bad after the wreck, but he came back and he was real happy that I won.
How about this week? You feel like you can win it again? You're starting inside row 3.
Yeah, I think we can maybe get it possibly. I think we'll probably be able to get a second, but first will probably be tough because Kurt Andrews up there and he's pretty tough.
I asked Tolliver Smith earlier tonight, how did it feel to win for the first time? He said, it wasn't my first time. I went up the street here a couple of weeks ago. I said, but Charlotte Motor Speedway especially. He goes, yeah, winning's winning, guys.
Ralph, that reminds me, he said he went up the street. Concord Motor Speedway is running Legends Car programs for a while. They're going to be running on Friday nights. So the Fur family that runs Concord Motor Speedway, if you're in the Charlotte area, you can get over on Friday nights. They're going to be running some go-karts and Legend Car shows on their short track there.
And that big track is actually, well, the whole facility is one of the finest, most competitive racetracks you'll find anywhere in the country for short track racing. They have a big, very fast half mile and then the little quarter mile on the inside. I haven't been there for a quarter mile race, but I've definitely seen a lot of half mile races there, and boy, that is a great track. Here's the wreck, Doug.
There's Van Wingerden sideways and
into the wall.
Into the wall, and then he clipped the wall coming back around. So
did it all on his own, didn't he?
Looked like it, at least from all that we could see there. Nasty way to go, and he is on the all too familiar Tommy Hook. But that was just a shot in the dark last week, and I paid dearly for even saying that.
You could have broke the story. I didn't know about it. You could have sounded
I didn't know Mark was going to break the story.
No. Hard on the brakes is the number 7. The 95 grabbing the lead. Greg Lawrence out of Monroe.
I tell you though, Tiger Tom is one of the more colorful characters. I wish there were more people like that in racing. He's a bit of a throwback to guys that used to be prominent in the sport. Taking a battle at the look at the battle for 4th and 5th place here in our Chargers division. And we got a lot of that's Jay Jordan in the 21, the gray machine. That's a beautiful machine. Helps run Gordon Lumber. The 21 car, and this is only about his 3rd Legends car race, and there goes one of the Dobie brothers.
And that's, I think, one of the first times we've seen a Dobie on course all summer long. Those guys have been fast and furious up front all summer long. Jason Butner in that 7 car, by the way.
Jason Butner in the 7 car, and Jay Jordan just getting past. They're coming up on the 24 here. I think that's the 24.7, Ralph, Grant Lockwood. Oh, we get one going around here.
Well,
Todd Gant.
Todd, we thought Doug was going to be wadding one up a long time ago the way he went barreling down into turn number 3, but handled it masterfully and kept it off the wall. But Kirk Hansen gets involved with him. That's Kirk there, and a really neat paint scheme on that car. This one, big problems there.
Hard to tell. Oh, just a little toe out problem for Todd Gant there.
Here's a look at it. Todd just loses it. And right about now, it's going to hook up, and that's going to become a problem for the 96 car with Brian Graham.
Just a couple of inches makes all the difference.
Oh, Mal Pollard up against the wall.
That's a tough break for Mal. Mal was the guy we were talking about, pretty much mortgaged the house to come over from Australia to go Legends car racing.
Might have to mortgage the apartment now.
No happiness there for Kirk Hansen.
Apparently what happened, Doug, was Mal Pollard came by and clipped the 24. While the 24 sitting still, he gets drilled by Mal Pollard.
The 24 had already been hit was out, and then Mal Pollard comes along.
Well,
Tough break for all concerned.
That explains why Kirk Hansen is kind of storming off, not real happy at this point in time. Well, we've obviously got a little cleanup to do on our quarter-mile Legends track here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stay with us. We're coming back to round 9 after this.
No matter.
There he is. Nice looking car too. Micro station.
You know what the other thing this is going to do is they only allow 3 wins in the Charger division before you have to move on. This is going to help move a lot of guys up into those other divisions too, because there's more opportunities obviously
thin
to
out
win.
the Chargers division at the same time.
Well, I don't know about thin it out, but keep it at a healthy level so that you're constantly seeing new names, new faces, and giving other guys opportunities. All right, so we told you we're going to do 2 of these. Here is the second one. This will be a 12-lapper. Kurt Andrews, Charles Guest, Bob Benson, John Chapman making up the first 2 rows. Tolliver Smith, we don't think he'll be around here much longer, do we? He's doing so well. He'll probably win his share and move on real soon. Brian Ling, Ken Jarrett, Ricky Pride, Steve Thompson, and Michael Hansen in the next 2 rows. John Burwell and Sean Parker back in row 8. And Rick Bass and Brian Gandy. Now, Brian Gandy is in a Pistone Posse car.
Brian's won a race this year.
Yep.
He's there, you go.
And Rick Bass has been real close to winning races.
All right. As Mark Garrow would have us say now, the Pistone Posse.
Pistone Posse, yes.
It's good enough for Tiger. It's good enough for There's Rick Bass, 92. That car has...
Boy, look at that thing squirt. Didn't it go? Little ragged as the green comes out, but we're racing into one anyway.
Car's going off in the grass there, doing a little lawn mowing. Wheels on paper. There you go.
That's Roger Neal, isn't it?
Yep. If 2 baseball games is a double header, what is it? You get 2 races.
Only your warped mind would even care.
I'm just wondering. Double lapper.
Double lapper would be a good call. Double green.
Taking a look back there at the 3 car. It's
Bobby Pitts.
Nice looking car. Obviously, we can tell who Bobby's favorite driver is. Sponsored by Tampa Bay Auto Auctions.
Well, we got another big lead building here out front of this one as we watch this battle brewing here for second place. That is the 28 car of Charles Guest. Currently trying to hold off Tolliver Smith. We said we've expected a lot of good things out of Tolliver, and he's showing them here tonight.
Mark Garrow talked with him earlier in the show. Tolliver's one of these young people who shows a lot of promise. Look how he holds that car real steady, looking for that lower line here, trying to work up around Charles Guest.
That graphic of Kurt Andrews is about all you're going to see of him tonight. He is checked out.
Now, you don't have too much time to get your business done here. This is a 12-lap shootout, so you got to decide what you want to do and do it in a hurry. And Tolliver works that inside, hit on the rumple strip though, and that kind of upset his line.
Do you know these are being seen in South America?
The Legends car?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a crash in turn 4, and everybody in South America is about to see it. There it is. The 32 is Gary Duffy, and oh, there's Tolliver right there, isn't it? No, that's the 3 car.
That's the 3 car we were talking
Bobby
about.
Pence. Here's the other one that was involved in that crash. Well, that's the 32. That's the one we already showed you, but there was another red car down there.
That's Gary Duffy. Think heading off 32 red. A lot of times, if you're new to Legends car racing, you may have 4 cars running the same number in the same division, and you have to go just on color.
We've got 3 32s in this Charger division alone here.
Yeah, our sheet here reads 32I red, 32 in white, and 32 blue and red. We have to cipher through that. A couple of members of the Pistone Posse in this particular show tonight. When we talk about that, Tiger Tom Pistone has a group of cars that are sort of under his wing, and Hank Jones has a group of cars that he's brought along this year. They're Hank's heroes, and they've sort of had a little inter-squad battle this season, and Tiger Tom's winning big. They've got a 4-race lead as far as total wins are concerned.
That was Brian Gandy, one of the Pistone Posse that you see there in the red number 9. Everybody fanning out once again. Brian Lee in the Gets inside, and here's that fight for second again. Continues to rage on. Tolliver to the inside. We've got contact there and a big problem in 4.
And Tolliver couldn't hold it. So far, nobody's really hurt in this deal unless they get collected in the
and that's usually where you see the big problem, because the guy spins like that in front of everybody and the rest of the pack usually collects him. Here's a look at it. Tolliver just too hot into the corner.
That may be just a racing accident there. Two guys trying to be in the same place, same time.
Let's check in with Mark.
The winner of the second Charger feature event.
Well, they waved him off, Mark. They're going to have to go one more lap. But, you know, Doug, I think that is really a classic example of what it means to a guy to win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Okay, it's Legends car. It's not the Coca-Cola 600, but still, it is the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and you did do it on live national television.
You did it on television. You did it at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You can take that trophy home, set it up somewhere, and it says Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That's right.
People walk in his house and look at that. They don't have to say, well, where's that?
That's right.
Pretty well identified, and that's what makes this whole Summer Legends Shootout special. That's why maybe 120 some drivers show up for 10 Tuesdays in a row. By the way, it is warm here today. It is very hot.
The guys that had been involved in that spin are not interested in going to the back of the pack. Now, we've got the punchy rule, and the racing rule is that if you're involved in an incident, you're going to the back. Which
thus named for Punchy Whitaker because he drop kicked somebody on the first.
That's right.
Race
it's not a derogatory thing with Punchy. It's just that's, you know, it was based around his incident on one of the early Tuesdays of the Summer Series, so it's just easier to go that way. All right, this time we're going to throw the green. And Kurt Andrews sprints off. Ryan Lee tries to hang on to the rear bumper, but can't do it.
Brian Lee,
John Chapman,
Harrisburg. That is literally the backyard of Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And Sean Parker in the 44.
That's the car that Ernie drove in the.
Well, we know that's a winner, don't we?
That car's got some good laps in it. By the way, Ernie did beat John Boy tonight.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in.
That may be a shock.
3 more laps to go here as we complete our second Chargers Division race here in the Summer Legends Shootout Series, round number 9.
Looking at John Chapman and the 44 here, Sean Parker.
This one pretty much stringing itself out. Nobody really racing too hard up front. Pretty much follow the leader just about all the way through the field as we take a look back. Here comes the white flag.
Leader gets a white flag. Big lead, too. That's an impressive advantage.
Kurt Andrews storms it down the backstretch. Reverse direction on pit road here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He will easily pick up a win here in round number 9. By the Masters Division, all the guys 40 years of age or older are lined up ready to go racing. Kurt Andrews gets to take a victory lap. We'll be right back after the division just finishing up here as we get set to move on to the Masters class. And here's a look at the results from the Chargers Division. Masters coming up next. Here's a look at the grid for the Masters Division cars.
This is going to be a good show. This is going to be a good race.
There's the man the rule's been named after, Punchy Whitaker. He's got the doc alongside of him, Mark Moskowitz. James Hines is up front. Mike White back on the inside of row 4. Barry Graham, he's a winner on the tour last week. Hank Jones and Bray Carey line up alongside each other. Bill Berry from out in California making Charlotte his home now in the 77 CA. Al Mitchell's 9, the red number 9. And Dan Hamrick will round out the field in the 0. In the points now, the Masters, of course, we score points. This one of the more open points races. I think 3rd on up still mathematically in this one.
Mike White's the defending champion. Mike Hughes wants it. I saw Cotton Spry just a few moments ago. Oh, we got an interloper here.
That wouldn't be Schrader out there, would it?
It just might be.
Wouldn't doubt it. Oh, it definitely should.
Unless somebody has swiped his Budweiser helmet and taking his car with his name on it.
Going to the front in a hurry, the number 25. You know, only Schrader would be the only Winston Cup guy to go to a Legends race and actually won a race.
In the feature.
Oh, big wreck.
Jay Barber is up on his side, and he goes outside of the grass. Also, John Smith is
second week in a row.
And the 38 of Charles Rush is involved.
Andy King's 22, the black one right there.
Well, Smith is able to drive away. John Smith drives away in the 21, and you'll see Jay Barber get airborne here.
Oh, right from the inside. Look at that on the nose.
Well, that happens sometimes. These cars climb up on each other when they get wheel to wheel, and you'll see them do that. And the Cheer 1 Wendy's special there, the 38 machine of Charles Rush. Looks like Charles has already had to put on one door this year. I don't think it's a door he's going to need this time.
By the way, I think Schrader's already passed half the field. Motorcycle fans, Hank Scott is the famous Hank Scott of motorcycle racing fame, who has now made Legends car racing his area of expertise. Let's take a look at that crash again as they tow off Jay Barber's car. Watch this one stand up on its nose. The car's going to come from the inside of the racetrack. Right there, right over. Is that Hank Jones or Mike Weich's car it went over?
I don't know, and I'm wondering if Jay didn't get bumped or what caused him to be in the grass in the first place. Jay's the guy who lives next door to my sister that practices on state-maintained roads.
Let's hope he doesn't try that down her street.
No.
Maybe he watched Dale Earnhardt Jr. try that in last week's NASCAR Generations race.
We've never seen one get on its nose like that.
But you know what? We've seen him get on just about everything else this summer, haven't we? We've seen him barrel roll. We've seen him cartwheeling. And man, that one I had not seen.
And there's Kenny Schrader in the 25 getting in a few practice laps.
They stuck him at the back again, Doug.
Take on Dick Trickle tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trickle doesn't roll out there all of a sudden. There, I see the 90 car off to the side. And guess what? Here comes Trickle.
I think Trickle's going to sneak in here.
Here he comes.
A little bit of lap time.
He's rolling out.
Yeah,
there he is.
He highly admires Legends cars. Look at him grinning.
He's grinning too. He's loving it. He's loving it. These two guys are racers, boy, that is for sure. Punchy Whitaker's in the lead, but Trickle and Schrader coming up from the back of the field. There's Mike Weick in the 7 on the backside of Bill Irwin. Rene Dakota in the 14 on the outside.
And the leader, Punchy Whitaker. James Hines right behind him.
Oh, Ray Carey loops it.
ESPN number 13 in the
and
grass.
so does John Smith over in turn 1.
And that was Trickle you saw coming through the shot late there. Punchy Whitaker carved himself out a little bit of a lead here.
There's John Smith. Boy, what a couple of weeks he's had, huh?
A lot of fiberglass had to be bought there. There's James Hines right behind Punchy. The doctor, Mark Moskowitz, the surgeon, is in 3rd place tonight.
I don't think I've seen James Hines hungrier for a win than I have in the last few weeks. Oh, we got another one around over in turn 4. I think it might be.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Turn it the other way there, Kenny. That guy's raced about everything on wheels, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
On 4 wheels.
Have you ever seen him drive a midget?
I've seen video. I've never been in person.
I've seen him at the Chili Bowl, which is a big indoor dirt race up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Fantastic. And I've seen him. Remember Schrader promoted his own indoor USAC race here at the Charlotte Coliseum? I got to announce that with Benny Parsons. We had a ball. Schrader is just awesome in an open wheel car. Schrader's coming on.
Don't you love him?
Oh, you got him. Both of them, they're so much fun because they just love being in a race car.
And they enjoy life. You gotta admire that. There's Punchy Whitaker.
This is going to be a battle because James Hines really has had a very non-James Hines type of year. More frustrations than positives, and I think he's desperate for a win.
Rolled a car, completely trashed it. They had to rebuild it in a couple of days. Been in a couple of other nasty wrecks. And he wants to climb up there and give it a good solid run. There's Dr. Mark Moskowitz in the yellow number 12. And there's Mike White, the guy that won so many of these races last year. Still in second, though, for the points.
Yep, here comes Barry Graham in that 43, which won last week, and Bill Irwin's in the 33.
Mike White hanging on in the 7, the Coors Light Valvoline machine. And then Barry Graham, who is a driving instructor for the Richard Petty Driving Experience. 43.
Cotton Spry bringing up the backside of Barry Graham.
There's Mike White hard on the brakes.
Buddy.
Why do it that way, Mike?
Fight for fourth rages on. Mike White to the inside. That could be it. Hard on the brakes.
Good job by Irwin to hold that spot. That's battle for fifth.
And I'll tell you, you know what, Doug, getting on and off those brakes and that accelerator in one of these cars is not an easy thing. Unless you've tried it, you have no idea how much car control Mike White has at that very moment.
Mike's going to look to the inside. I think he'll make it stick this time. That's a good pass.
Tip of the visor to Mike White. Great job of controlling that car. If you've driven a Legends car, you know how tricky it is to make one of these things go that smoothly, that quickly. Punchy Whitaker and James Hines, they're continuing to battle hard for the win. Oh, on the bumper.
James Hines, the Bull and Anna's Beach cars. Punchy's sponsored by his own tire dealership just up the road here in Concord.
Punchy giving the hand signal there. That I think was a thank you for not taking me out when I know you could have. Don't forget, this is a battle between Hank's heroes. James Hines, their representative, as he takes the lead away from one of the Pistone posse, Punchy Whitaker. But they're both going to lose out as Mark Moskowitz slides by.
The good doctor has, dare I say, cut his way to the lead. Dare I not say.
I wish you wouldn't, but you already did. There's the doc.
Yeah. Doctor is on the point right now. James Hines back there in second. Has the doctor
trying to go to the front?
Is he?
I don't think so. Oh, we've got contact, and the good doctor is going around. I told you, James Hines was very aggressive these days, and he showed it again.
He was hungry.
Well, hungry is aggressive.
I think he just took a bite.
Well, he definitely, yeah.
His appetite showed up there.
But hungry
now, I think
aggressive.
The doctor may get, they'll go back to the front here if they invoke
punchy rule.
The punchy rule. Oh, this is a small subculture we're creating here.
Yes, it is.
We start tossing out phrases like that and people are understanding them.
Which is frightening. The fact that anybody understands anything we say is frightening.
James Hines gets to him. Oh.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a touch.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That is a flagrant foul.
Well, the doctor's glory was short-lived there. Let's see if they don't let him go back to the head of the class. I think they're going to.
I doubt they're going to let James Hines up there, though.
I don't believe that'll happen. Dr. Mark Moskowitz will go up to the front.
Punchy says, I want it back.
Hey, I want a little piece of that.
James right there with him. Yes, James figures if Punchy's gone, so am I.
I don't think this kind of deal, they're going to start the lap cars on the outside, folks.
No, but you know what? That 7 car could be the big winner in this whole thing. Well, and that could really shake up the point standings.
He's currently second in the Masters points, and we're talking about Mike White in the 7 car. By the way, this is a quarter-mile flat track that you see here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's on the infield of the racetrack. What they're on right now is pit road. They're basically going the wrong way on pit road.
And actually, there is literally no banking at all.
No, it is flat. And well, there may be a couple of degrees of banking on the main straightaway where they are right now, but not enough that it really affects them coming off to it.
Triple-digit speeds, I would say, as well, coming up those straightaways.
They get possibly. I don't know. I've never had a radar gun out here. Maybe that's something we could do next week and get some actual speeds. Tony George is in the house tonight.
Yes, he is.
President of Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Steve Miller Band.
Yeah, they're all here. Rocking the house somewhere. They got a concert at the Blockbuster Pavilion just down the road tomorrow night.
You going?
Not Steve Miller. Headed to Virginia Beach, a little vacation.
Barry Graham, the 43. Here comes Mike White to the outside of the dock. Trying to cut it back inside.
Let's see if the dock can hold the line.
Here he comes. 2 to go. Oh, a little contact there.
All right.
Is it going to pay off for Mike White?
Mike's going to work every angle on Dr. Mark Moskowitz over this last lap and a half to get around him. But Mike also knows he wants points, and he's not going to risk spinning himself out to get the feature win.
No, he's not.
Well, I counted the changes, over $3.50 in change glued inside of.
Oh, he's got him here, Doug.
Car.
He's got him here. He might have a real definitive on that, aren't they? He ain't got him. No way. Dr. Mark Moskowitz gets the win. We think we'll have to check this with Mark Garrow when the Doc pulls into victory lane. This is either the Doc's first or second career win. Stay with us. We'll find out right after this.
They're lined up here for our next go-round Summer Legends Shootout Series. Lugnut getting ready to pull him out onto the track here, and Darrell Jackson will lead the way in the pro feature tonight. Clay Hare, in his hometown up in Tennessee, he has become like the new icon. There's Brian Sockwell, Tony Hamby in row 4. Back there to John Craig and Hoyt Demas, 23.5. Matt Mullins starts back in the next row. Chuck Gaffar in the 77G will be back in row 8. Jack Campata and Tim Daum, 6T.
Tony George back into the field. The Tony George.
President of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, general manager of the Indy Racing League.
There's a look at the point standings. You think anybody's going to catch Scholes?
No.
Good battle for second, though, huh?
Tommy Rape, Doug Vandenbrink. We showed his miniature war wagon on the opening of the show that Vic Irvin built. Nice looking mobile toolbox. Total overkill. Our garage.
And they're bringing Trickle in on the hook. The only time the winner has come in on a hook in Legends car racing, and Trickle going to ride it all the way in.
That's all right. You get to victory lane no matter how it takes. There's right. Tony George.
Painted up in the colors of the Brickyard 400 logo. Mark Garrow, you got more on Tony George?
Well, you know, he is quite the racer. You know, I was talking to him earlier tonight. He raced 12 times in the Legends cars in '95, but for years, back when he was about, he said 25 to 30, he ran Formula Fords, Indy Lights, and IMSA Racing. So this guy is no stranger to the racetrack. Unfortunately for him, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway keeps him so busy these days, he doesn't get to race as much as he'd like.
Looked like his car's running a little low, Doug, scraping on the bottom.
I can't believe that being president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway keeps you busy.
No.
Only do things 2 days a year.
Darrell Jackson and Clay Hare going at it. And here comes Doc Brewer.
Yeah, but talking with Clay Hare today in his hometown, they just love him. He does autograph parties now. And people show up. It's not like it. It's not like you and I went out there.
Not like when you do an autograph party, huh?
No. Mom, good to see you.
Yeah. Darrell Jackson's got the lead, and boy, what a battle we got brewing up front. The 4U is Sockwell. Demas, Doc Brewer in that 44 comes sliding up in there.
65, of course, Darrell Jackson on the point, longtime runner, and
Pistone around.
And one of the Pistone posse with a little trouble tonight, Tommy Pistone.
He was waiting. I think he sat there a little longer, hoping maybe the caution would come out. No doing, so he gets underway.
Brian Sockwell there in the 4U. I don't think Brian's won a feature this year. He's been close a couple of times. He's been doing some dash racing. By the way, Kevin Conway is going to get his dash career, I think, started this weekend. He's not racing tonight. Going to try to get into the NASCAR Goodies dash race down at Myrtle Beach.
Good for him.
And Doug Vandenbrink, talking to him earlier tonight, he's in this feature right there in 4th place. Doug Vandenbrink is going to try to race either NASCAR All-Pro or Hooters Cup next year, so he's going to try to step up a level.
And he's in the midst of a points battle here in this division, trying to lock down second place. Boy, they're scattering as they come off before. Clay Hare back to the outside of Darrell Jackson. He tried that before. It better pay off. If not, Sockwell's not about to let him back in the line.
Darrell Jackson's got it trimmed up on the outside. That may open the door up for Brian Sockwell and Vandenbrink and the whole train to come by.
Boy, Sockwell really working the back bumper of Jackson now.
Well, that's a good move there by Sockwell, because what he's doing, he's forcing Clay Hare to try to back up a little bit. Because Clay is definitely taking a long way around.
Clay's going to end up in 3rd here if he's not careful. Clay can run it pretty deep into 1, but there's just not enough on the outside there to get around him. Sockwell to the inside of Jackson. This could be trouble. Vandenbrink coming right with him.
That's a good move. Brian made that stick. He didn't drive it in too deep. You were thinking that.
It didn't look like it.
That was a bold move of Brian Sockwell and Doug Vandenbrink right there in the WSOC car, and the WCW car right behind that.
And this is by far the best Brian Sockwell has run all summer.
He's had some strong runs, but we've seen him make some passes tonight. He's come from fourth, moved right up here to the point.
In fact, for quite a while, Doug, we hadn't seen Brian Sockwell up near the front, and we were wondering what happened to him. He was saying that seat time was going to be the difference. He had spent so much time in his dash car that he had to get reacclimated to the Legends car. It seems like he's figured it out.
There's another guy that's in the dash series, Doc Brewer.
The Realtree car and the 04 in second place in the Masters points, Tommy Ray.
Doc Brewer in the 44. That's the car that John Boyd drove tonight to this glorious second place finish.
That's one of Hank's heroes right there, the 44.
Brian Sockwell got this under control. This is a good battle back here for fifth.
Tony George, by the way.
Nice move by Tony Rape to get underneath Doc Brewer.
Tony George running back in the pack. He's passed a handful of cars, but not in a position to challenge for the lead at this point.
Tommy Rape has gotten around Doc Brewer, and the 28 has moved up in position. Rob Anderson. He's had some good runs this year.
Sure has. There's the leader putting Tony George down a lap.
Ooh, Tony George in the middle of a three-wide sandwich there, but he gets through it okay.
Pushes a 96 of Jeff Smith to the outside. The Pistone car going down a lap as well. Tommy Pistone.
This is the Brian Sockwell we saw some last year, Ralph, in the first year. This is the third year we've done the Summer Legends Shootout Series, and this is the old Brian Sockwell.
Well, Clay Hare got around Daryl Jackson finally. He's up into third behind Sockwell and Vandenbrink. There he is. That purple and yellow car.
Clay's won a feature event this year. This guy's done a lot of racing too, Ralph. I mean, he's done drag racing and a little bit of everything. Really like, he won a national championship in drag racing, but has really taken to the Legends cars.
Won the championship on the IHRA International Hard Rod Association Tour.
That's a good-looking car, too. About 3 of those painted up in those WC colors. The Diamond Ridge Motorsports team, owned by Gary Bechtel. Same man that owns the WCW Grand National car and the Cartoon Network Winston Cup car.
Since Doug Vandenbrink brought out a War Wagon, how many weeks do you think it takes before the rest of them show up?
Oh, next year, we'll see a dozen.
You'll have to have it. Oh, yeah. Have to.
Can't go race unless you have a War Wagon. It's neat looking, though.
Yeah, no doubt about that. There's the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. What award is? John Craig coming in actually from 8th in the 1C, the blue and silver car.
Now, John Craig acts as the crew chief.
There's some contact.
John Craig in the 1C, the silver-topped car right there, acts as the crew chief for the leader's dash car. John Craig is Sockwell's crew chief on his dash car.
The 4 behind them is Tony Hamby and Pistone coming up in there.
It's a neat-looking paint job on the Hamby machine, the number 4 car.
It's different. I like John Craig's with the silver and the blue.
A lot of these guys put a lot of time and effort and money and graphic design into getting these cars to look just right.
Point leader Greg Schultz has moved up from 14th to 6th. That'll help him take that points lead with 32B actually, in the Hunter's middle.
Good looking Hamby working over the rear bumper of Doc Brewer.
2 to go this time by. Sockwell maybe picking up his first feature win. Going to get one of those Summer Legends Shootout Series hats.
I got to mention.
You got one?
Sports.
Thanks, buddy.
That's what I'm here for.
I can count on you. My buddy Doug Rice, always there for me.
Can't get you a trophy, though. You got to do that yourself.
No, man. Someday. Austin goes down a lap, Ronnie Dean. And Sockwell storms it down the backstretch. He'll be a happy guy. He has had a long season trying to figure out a Dash Series car. Not a lot of victories there, and not a lot of victories in the Summer Legends Shootout Series, but there is one tonight. As Brian Sockwell holds off Doug Vandenbrink for the win. here at the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series, round number 9. The Pro Division win goes to Brian Sockwell. Stay with us. We're coming right back to CMS after this. Back inside row 4. Tony Sossman, we've seen a lot of good things out of him this year. The 14. Steve Tart, the 57S.
Barry Bodine. Saw Dad Jeff Bodine walking around the garage tonight.
Ricky Hendrick in the 5H.
Relegated to the back of the pack
He
tonight.
is in a John Freeman backup car. We're so used to seeing Ricky in the 1H. But tonight, backup Freeman car. That's interesting.
He must have problems. He must have problems in the qualifier tonight.
Silver green. Green and clean through the first 2 turns. We have a couple of bumps and bangs, but everybody keeps it straight.
John Freeman, as Ralph alluded to, he wants his championship. He stopped me in the garage today and talked, and he said, I want this thing so bad. He said, I want it too bad. I'm afraid I'm going to screw up because I'm going to be trying to win the championship so bad. I won't be paying attention to racing like I should be.
And that could be a real problem, as silly as that sounds.
There's Timothy Peters, the 77. There's the Wizard of Boone, giving the boom to Timothy Peters.
That must be the 32B of Great. There's Austin.
There's Wayne Austin.
The 30 car is up front, Doug. That's Jeff Matthews. That black number 30 out of Booneville, North Carolina. Wayne Austin, the 44, with the 7 right behind him. Justin Snow. Here's a change for the lead. E.B. Jackson takes over.
E.B. out of nearby Concord makes the move, gets on around, and once he made the pass, we've had a couple of people dominate tonight. We've had some close races. We've also had a couple, especially in the Chargers, where the leader went out there and went away. That's E.B. Jackson on the point. He's got a lot of company not too far behind him.
Here's a battle for 6th. Peters over the Wizard of Boom.
John Freeman, current point leader here in the semi-pro division.
Real fun-loving guy, too. You know, this Legends car racing for him truly is his golf game. With a whole bunch of Freeman car stereo stores in the Charlotte area. 5, I think he's got going. He's running all the time from business to business. As one of the cars comes up to a stop along the wall, Steve Tart up against the wall there.
Tough night for the Tart man. Looked like he popped right out of the line.
I knew it, Rice. I knew it. If I said it long enough, you would get popped in front of Tart before we went to break.
Victory lane. I'm supposed to say hello to my son Daniel, who's usually on my pit crew, but he's vacationing in Massachusetts. We're back green.
Daniel misses a race. The Doc wins. Daniel might be on vacation for a while.
I'll be shipping him off to Martha's Vineyard for good.
E.B. Jackson out front. Here's the battle for 2nd. 3 cars involved and a lot of pushing and shoving in the process. That's Clay Watts in the 1. Wayne Austin in the 44.
Wayne Austin using the nose of that car to root out some of the competition there.
Justin Snow is in that white and red 7 as the rest of the field storms by. There's Nick Pistone in the blue 59 trying to come in.
He was a feature winner last week.
The Wizard of Boom continues to circulate, holding on to his points lead, chasing Timothy Peters.
Peters, strong runner in a 77 Coca-Cola car here in the semi-pro division. There's Nicky Pistone. Get a good look at that car.
That's the battle for 8th. Jeff Matthews trying to catch it.
Boy, Matthews is faded, hadn't he, Ralph? He was a leader here for the first few laps and gone back into the 8th and 9th positions.
The Booneville, North Carolina driver was really strong, Doug, as you said. And man, he's right to the back.
Now that's got to be the Hendrick Freeman car behind him. Right there.
That's actually the 1W. That's Wes Weaver.
Yeah, former national drag racing champion.
A lot of former draggers over here in Legends cars.
Wayne Austin working all over the rear end of that car. Can't do anything right now, though.
That's a tight little freight train.
Trying to get around Clay Watts. Hey, they really are bunched up here from second on back. Wayne Austin, got a lot of company in there. Justin Snow.
One little bobble and things are going to change dramatically in that pack. Oh, and guess what? The Wizard of Boom is around. There's John. Protecting that points lead. You said it, Doug, early on. He might forget how to concentrate on what the task at hand is.
Kind of wonder what started all this. We just saw the secondary part of that. We didn't really see what initiated it, but that's a tough break for John Freeman there.
Well, and he is dead last at this point. He's finally got it restarted as E.B. Jackson continues to circulate. This could shake up the point standings in the semi-pro division and make round number 10. Don't forget, next Tuesday night, we crown the champions in all these different divisions as you watch the battle for fourth.
Can't believe it just got 1 week to go.
It's going to be an exciting night, though, next Tuesday night. Bobby and Terry Labonte here for our Home Depot Challenge, and we're going to crown the champions in the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series. Should be a great night. Make sure you don't miss it. Next Tuesday, 8 p.m. live right here on Sports South. These guys trying to settle a war right here.
Wayne Austin is right in the middle of this, and I think he's fast enough, but they really clamped down on just shoving people out of the way this year. And you got to make your pass. You got to make it legitimate now.
Well, this is the battle for second. It belongs right now to Clay Watt, that one car. Austin is third in the 44. Here comes the white flag. Timothy Peters is in the 77. Justin Snow in the red and white 7NC. And Pistone right behind him. Man, what a battle. And here comes Jeff Matthews. E.B. Jackson's got this one won big time. There's the fight for second. To the line. It will be the black and orange number 1 of Clay Watts, who holds on for second. And we got a really cool surprise for you, though. When we come back, E.B. Jackson, your winner, semi-pro division. Don't go away.
Back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway with the result.
As always tonight, Transaurus rolling out onto the racetrack, and we're hoping they're going to open it up and let it belch some flames for you before we get off air here tonight as we wrap up round number 9 next Tuesday, live here on Sports South. The final round of the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series will crown the champions, and in our Home Depot Challenge, Terry and Bobby Labonte gonna go at it. Well, Doug Rice, thanks for joining me as always. Can't wait to see you next week on championship night. The folks at RaceCam, thank you so much for our radio. It's a great job as always. We would be remiss if we did not thank and congratulate our good buddy Uncle Ken Dennis, our regular director. Happy birthday, Uncle Ken. We know you turned 40. Couldn't sneak one by us. So long, everyone.
Of Legends cars at the Charlotte Motor Speedway has been a great one. The competitors have been a little heated at times, but there was always lots of action. Tonight, we crown 3 champions in the final round of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Kenny Schrader was on hand for the Home Depot Challenge last week. Just couldn't resist sneaking into the starting grid of the Masters division. Didn't take long for things to heat up either. In the first turn, Jay Barber gets airborne, causing a 4-car pileup. Mark Moskowitz in the 12 speeds to the front, followed a little too closely by James Hines. The incident fell into the jurisdiction of the punchy rule, and the 12 car was returned to the front. Mike White took advantage of the spin and moved into second, where he put pressure on the good doctor for the remainder of the race. But the doc held him off for his first career Legends win at CMS. In the Pro Division, Darrell Jackson got out to the early lead with a 29 car with Clay Hare on his side the whole way. Hare tried moving to the outside but couldn't make it happen, and Brian Sockwell in the 4U was not about to let him back in line, sticking to Jackson's bumper. Sockwell then made his move to the inside, followed by Doug Vandenbrink in the second. Vandenbrink could not get past the 4U, as Sockwell also won his first feature of the year. The semi-pro race last week was the least dramatic of all, as E.B. Jackson took over early and never looked back. The only race was for second, with 4 cars battling the whole way. Clay Watts in the 1, Wayne Austin's 44, Justin Snow in the 7, and the 77 of Timothy Peters got to know each other real well, bumping and banging throughout. but no one could even come close to E.B. Jackson as he took the checkered flag. It's a championship Tuesday night here in the Summer Legends Shootout Series, round 10, and money to be handed out and crowns to be placed on top of the championship heads. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph at the racetrack, Justin Snow, and the Wizard of Boom, John Freeman, Wayne Austin, and Timothy Peters. E.B. Jackson, who dominated last week, Todd Laney, Ricky Hendrick, and Johnny Sossaman Jr. Freddie Lancaster, Jerry Dickerson, Randy Humphrey, and Wes Weaver making up part of the 11 rows. As you take a look at the last couple, there's Barry Bodine in car 88. Papa Jeff sitting up here having dinner in the Speedway Club, the winner of this weekend's Watkins Glen race. Well, there is a look at the point standings. Timothy Peters, Wayne Austin, John Freeman. Boy, the Wizard of Boom, Doug, as you look at the 77 car, Freeman really kind of had this thing locked up just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, John got turned around last week in an accident, not of his own making, and that finish just about killed him. To do the quick math tonight, it basically starts, you get 100 points if you win, then it goes to 97, and just subtract 3 from there on down. The least amount of points you can get is 43 points. If you finish 20th or back, you get 43 points. That's your minimum.
We're racing for the championship here now. Herlocker in the 18 takes the early lead. Clay Watts in the black and orange #1, sliding into second. Nick Pistone, with his grandfather coaching him from the backside of the racetrack, slides into third. The 7 car, Justin Snow, and we've got one up against the wall. The 17, I believe that's Todd Laney.
Yep, Todd Laney, one of the nicer looking prepared cars out here, and I'll have to have some time to work on that. Now, a lot of these cars don't just run here. They may go run over at Concord on Friday nights because they run the Legends cars and go-kart shows there and all over the southeastern region. Let's see what happens to Todd here.
Well, once he got loose, there was no catching it. It looks like he just went around. Corrected, overcorrected, got a little more help, and slided underneath the starter. One thing you can't say about these cars that hit on the driver's side door or the passenger side door, because the driver sits smack dab in the middle of this thing.
He's squared up in the middle. While we take a little time out here for him to get Todd Laney out of the way. You know, during the recent Olympics, the big debate was about what athletes would appear on cereal box covers. Well, the Legend car guys beat him to us. That's Brooks and Dunn, the famous country duo. You see the Legends cars on the side there. They did an offer, Ralph, where you could send in the certificate on the side of the Kellogg's cornflake box and get little miniature scaled Legends cars. Had 50,000 people.
50,000.
50,000 respondents for the Legends car giveaway. They had to reorder. They had no idea they'd have that many folks demand.
Now, of course, we could say that maybe it was because they were fans of country music, but no.
Or cornflakes.
Of course, they were diehard Legends car fans. The most fanatical bunch in the racing world love their Legends cars with cornflakes and probably a little banana sliced on top while you're listening to Kix Brooks and Ronnie Dunn. What else? Stay with us. If he wins this, here comes the green flag. Pistone makes the bonsai move as Watts has problems on the start. Clay Watts in the black and orange #1 goes from second to fourth as Pistone gets by.
And for John Freeman tonight, he would have to win and have the other 2 competitors finish 15th or worse to have a chance to pull out the championship. So that's John Freeman's chance remote at best.
Look at Pistone on a tear here as the 7NC of Justin Snow is closing in on this one as well. Pistone to the inside line, that is the preferred line going to the turn, but he can't make it stick.
So Pistone trying to work down on the inside of Greg Herlocker and Justin Snow working behind him. Using the old system there to identify Justin, since you got a lot of 7s in here. Justin will run 7NC, North Carolina.
Pistone's going to make this work, Doug. He has got the preferred line. It's only a matter of time. So there it is.
Nick Pistone makes it happen.
Think Tiger's hooping and hollering on the outside of the racetrack?
Tiger's probably got a satellite dish set up on the outside of the racetrack watching the race. We're saying that, of course, because Tiger Tom suspended for Legends car racing for a time for a rules infraction, but all the Pistone posse here running in their glory tonight, and this one doing especially well as Nick Pistone is pulling away.
There is a fight for third and fourth. Justin Snow at the 7, Watts in the 1, and here comes the Wizard of Boom. John Freeman, the Freeman Car Stereos, back number 5F.
John brings big entourage to the racetrack. He's got a big luxury motorhome that he brings down there in the garage. Always a lot of folks around the Freeman compound. Ooh, that's in Montana, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Freeman. Okay, there's no D in there, but he's real popular.
Here comes the 77 of Justin Peters. Now, Austin has put 2 cars between him and Peters.
And he needs to add about 5 or 6 more to that to have a chance. Timothy Peters gives a nice shot to the 14 of John.
Whoa! Oh, that almost helped out Austin. As the 30 car of Jeff Matthews, and I saw Ricky Hendrick go sliding into the infield as well. He had hooked Peters there for half a second, and Doug, that could have taken Peters right out of it.
That could have been the championship, but Timothy Peters drives through that mess. More than we can say for the 30 of Jeff Matthews, who's Jeff's been tough here in the last few races.
Now watch Matthews hook the bumper on the back end, and Timothy stays in the gas and drives through it.
A big break there for Timothy. Now when we said he hooked him in the bumper, Ralph, I think it's just because his car is so loose when he comes out of the turn.
Right.
It wiggles back and he hooked him.
Absolutely. Right there.
Look at Timothy sawing that wheel, holding on for dear life, and he, you know, wonder if the championship flashed in front of his eyes there for a second.
You bet it did. There is Jeff Matthews. His night is done, as is the Summer Legends Shootout Series for him in 1996. But this young man is driving for a championship, Mark.
Sure is. He's down here starting 7th. He's 33 points behind Greg Scholes. I'm talking with Tommy Rape. You've got a tall order tonight. But one thing about it, it would seem to me, not a whole lot of strategy here, not a whole lot of thinking you've got to do. You simply got to get to the front and hope he doesn't.
This should be interesting for the fans.
There is Austin. He needs a total of 6 cars minimum between himself and Peters to wrap up this championship and steal it out from under him. Right now, Peters goes sliding off of turn number 1, and Doug, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 cars between himself and Austin as they stack them up coming out of 2.
We've got another car stalled on the backstretch. This may bring out the caution again, and the yellow is out again. And how many cars got between Wayne Austin and Timothy Peters?
Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But Timothy's moving around a couple. It's going to be close.
It is 3 points of position. It goes from 100, 97, 94, 91, 88, 85, 82, and so on. And that's how the points break down. So you can do your own math.
Here's a look at it. Look at Peters. I don't think he got hit in there by the 6 car of Turner. I think he just got loose. He was pretty far off. He was kind of almost out into the marbles. You might get a better, see, he's just pretty far out there. He went in kind of hot. Oh, look at the right.
The right rear
is off the rim, isn't it?
If it's not off the rim, it's at least going flat.
It's flat. That is going to do it.
And Timothy Peters' car is off the track now.
They're going back to green here pretty soon, and I don't think he's going to have a chance. Doug, when he got hit by the other car, that flattened the tire.
I think you're right, Ralph. I really do. I think that first incident
with
probably
Jeff Matthews
cut down Timothy Peters' tire.
And Austin is in a great position to just wrap up this championship. Now, don't forget, the Wizard of Boom.
That's what I'm getting ready to do.
Back there in third.
John Freeman is 22 points behind Wayne Austin.
And they're right in front of each other.
So right now, Wayne Austin in very, very good shape here. And that is just gut-wrenching for young Timothy Peters. Got to feel for him to have to lose it that way, Ralph.
That is brutal.
I mean, that's no fault of his own. and just got caught up in the circumstances. And we'll see if Wayne Austin doesn't inherit the championship here.
Championship Tuesday, a night full of drama as we go back to green. Oh boy, you saw Watts going up into the air over the 11B, or the 18, I should say, a Herlocker. Well, Austin's going to stay glued to the backside of Freeman. That's E.B. Jackson's 23 and Sossman's 14. Freeman's got to get moving in a hurry.
Got to wonder how far down this is going to drop Timothy Peters in the point standings, because it was Peters, Austin, Freeman, and Justin Snow. So Timothy Peters going from potential championship to maybe a 4th place finish in the semi-pro division. All for the want of a right rear tire.
So once again, Freeman's got to put some 5 to 6 cars between him and Austin. The laps are ticking away.
Yeah, and for John to do that, he's got to pass everybody, and,
including the leader.
And Freeman, Wayne Freeman, has got to drop back 3 or 4 positions. And I think Wayne's going to let that happen, but
no, well, look at that.
He's in good shape too.
You see Sossman get in there and start banking, because don't forget, everybody's racing for position in the final standings, and there is money to be handed out. So
well, Wayne can give up a lot of spots right now. He can give up 4 or 5 spots here with a half a dozen laps to go.
But don't forget, Doug, he might not know exactly where he's got to be, because these cars do not come equipped with radios. There is no way to get hand signals from your crew. And
but I'll guarantee you he knows Timothy Peters is out of the race.
Yeah, but he also probably knows that Freeman is in the hunt, so he probably wants to stay as glued to him as he can. 5 to go. The first championship trophy getting set to be handed out. Freeman getting desperate, looking to the high side. Here comes Timothy Peters, back out with a fresh tire, laps down, but the young man is going to complete the season. Obviously with no chance to win it.
So Wayne Austin, what is it he calls his group? The Hillsville Herd. They got into the name game late here, but looks like the Herd may stampede away with a trophy here in a little bit.
Well, we've got a spin over in 1. That doesn't do anything.
Meanwhile, Nick Pistone, or Pistone, take your pick, is running away from the show here.
White flag this time by for Nick Pistone.
This will clinch the unofficial competition between the Pistone Posse and Hanks Heroes.
Even with the Masters division still yet to go, and all
it'll
that.
make it 9 to 5. There's no way they can catch up.
That's it. And the checkered flag will fall for Nick Pistone. Tiger celebrating on the outside of the racetrack, and here comes your champion. Wayne Austin in the number 44 out of Archdale, North Carolina, claims the semi-pro division championship. The 1996 Charlotte Motor Speedway Food Lion Summer Shootout Championship. We'll be back to talk to the champ right after this, live on Sports South. Thank you, Mark.
And they beat out Hanks Heroes. 9 to 5 it stands right now, so they win that little round.
9 rows in our Pro Division feature for the championship there. As you take a look at the grid, white team is Doug Vandenbrink in 3, Rape and Sockwell in 4. Sockwell the winner on this season. Darrell Jackson, John Crow, winner in a Hooters Cup race earlier this summer, last week.
One up at Knoxville this past weekend. Outdrove Mike Garvey, pretty good racer to win that race.
And here's a look at the point standings. I think Scholes has got a pretty comfortable lead here, Doug. It looks like the fight in this one is going to be for second.
Yeah, that battle back there at second, Tommy Rape, Doug Vandenbrink. Brian Sockwell could sneak up in there, but Greg Scholes just needs to drive his race tonight, and he'll be in good shape.
Just has finished 12th or better to lock up the championship in the Pro Division. G.E. Chapman was the champ in this class last year, and kind of surprised to see G.E. not farther up in it this year. You know, Doug, he sits 17th in the championship points right now.
Well, G missed out on a couple of shows. When you do that, it's hard to run for the championship. Sockwell finally picked up.
Whoa, there's contact. Big time. Oh, big time. Stacking them up as they come off at 2.
That's about as collective of a crash as we've seen all season long, as far as eating up a lot of race cars.
Jeff Craig right there in the 99. The 23 car is Hoyt Demas' 23.5.
So some pretty good drivers tangled up in that. Hoyt Demas getting out, disgusted looking at his car.
You can see it starts right there at about row 2.
Looked like Jack Campata, the 10 car, was the catalyst in this.
And I think he was with John Craig, wasn't it? That the blue and silver 1C?
Jack and John Craig got together. I don't know who initiated the contact here.
Comes Craig up on the inside. He's on the rumble strips.
They get into each other, and then here we go.
Yeah, the 04, that's Wayne Sharp. Tommy Rape, I mean, sorry. 77, hard on the brakes, Gaffera.
Clay Hare, the 29, ducked down to the inside and got out of that. Actually, that was G.E. Chapman's 29 that got out of there. A lot of fiberglass flying.
And you can see Campata with his hand out the window. He knew it was going to get ugly, trying to warn everybody he could.
All right, Campata got nailed a couple of times there. He got hit from behind, and then the 99 of Jeff Craig had nowhere to go and comes right into the side of him. Like Mark Garrow says, from the penthouse to the outhouse, that was Timothy Peters tonight, from looking like he had the championship in the bag to 5th place in the point standings.
We're back at it. We've got a championship to settle here in the Pro Division. These are the big dogs of Legends car racing.
Boy, Demas must have come out of that crash okay. Ralph is 23.5's on the point here.
Well, Tommy Rape is second in the points, and he's sitting second in this race. A lot of slicing and dicing as Sockwell gets Vandenbrink's rear end loose.
Let's see if Hoyt can hold off the 04. I don't think so. Tommy Rape, who Mark talked to just a few minutes ago, slides under it. Back there's Daryl Jackson in the 65.
Just to update you, the 32B is our points leader. He sits at 9th. He can give up as many as 12 positions without losing the championship.
Well, he probably got helped a lot, Ralph, when the field got whittled down a moment ago. He's
sure did.
In a position where he can finish pretty close to dead last and still win the championship.
There's only 7 cars behind him. Tommy Rape is in second in the points. I'd like to lock that down over Doug Vandenbrink, and Vandenbrink is in that black 103 car, the WSOC 103 car.
He's the one we featured last week that has the 5/8 scale war wagon toolbox in the garage.
He's trying to catch Rape, but nothing doing just yet.
Boy, Demas, who we thought was pretty much out of this, caught up in that crash, running a strong second behind Tommy Rape.
Hoyt is 6th in the points, and 5th is Clay Hare, who is weathered way back in the pack. So Hoyt might be able to overtake at least 5th here.
The 04 car, though, of Rape is starting to hop a little bit when he goes into the turns now. It's starting to chatter.
Oh! Pick up some more, including Clay Hare in the 29. The 44 car is Doc Brewer.
And that's
the 59 at Pistone. Tom Pistone, the 3rd. Well.
So the taxi cab car, it looks like he may get righted here and get back out into the action.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of Clay Harris 29. We said that he was trying to hold on to 5th in the points, but this is going to send him near the end of the field, and Hoyt Demas is already up battling for the lead here. Could have a change inside the top 5.
It's Clay Hare and G.E. Chapman both sporting 29 here, and Clay's been a feature winner, had a good run last week, and his car tightened up late in the race, just wouldn't turn. Gets into Doc Brewer there in the 44 car.
What?
Doc campaigning regularly on the NASCAR Goodies Dash circuit.
Well, Timothy Peters had a shot of wrapping up a championship here tonight. Oh, some of the characters that make up the Food Line Summer Shootout Series. It's been a fun summer. This is the third one. And we have done this as we go back to green. They just keep getting better.
I love the T-shirts, though. The little slash, the Stone Posse and Hank's Heroes, Hillsville Herd.
I'm just glad they haven't put our names on T-shirts with the circle and the line drawn through it.
That we know of yet.
Yeah, exactly. Tommy Ray continuing to lead. Trying to lock down second of the championship chase. And Hoyt team is trying to move himself inside the top 5.
And Austin back there trying to be the second Austin to pick up a green flag, checkered flag tonight, hanging on to third. Vandenbrink in fourth.
Top 6 cars all getting bumped around. Here comes Sockwell to the inside of Daryl Jackson.
Sockwell out there racing that car with the For Sale sign on the back.
Spending a lot of time in the Goodies Dash Tour. The fight for 5th continues. 98 is John Crow. The red car. Recent winner on the Hooters Tour.
Rookie of the year last year on that tour. He's now picked up 2 feature wins. Paced pretty well. Picked up $15,000 cash to go to the check. There's Sockwell peeking to the inside. Tommy Ray driving a nice race tonight, Ralph. He's real consistent with his line. Doug Vandenbrink working all over Hoyt Demas there in the 23.5 car. That's kind of let Brian Sockwell get up here. We got a nice 4-car battle here.
Bumping going into the corners, but everybody keeping it pretty straight. Nobody really seems to be getting an advantage in or onto the turns. All the cars seem to be handling pretty well. Smoke coming off of Demas' car, but as we've learned over the years, smoke out of a Legends car does not necessarily mean a problem.
No, it's not a prerequisite for trouble out here. It's just the nature of these cars to smoke up a little bit.
Well, Vandenbrink's been tapping and tapping and tapping. He's fighting his way to the inside of Demas because the door shut on him there. Schultz still in 8th place, still giving him the championship, but here comes Sockwell now to fight with the 103 of Vandenbrink.
Ryan will go up there and stick his nose in a couple of more times. Vandenbrink wants to go bigger racing. He wants to do NASCAR All-Pro racing or Hooters Cup late model, something a little bit bigger next year.
Back to the lead with 5 laps remaining in the Pro Division Championship fight.
I think the championship fight's just about a decision here. Greg Scholes can keep it on the racetrack, but the front of this race is awfully interesting.
And even for these guys that are out of the championship hunt, a win in the final race of the season would do a lot for a guy's ego as Demas gets bumped by Vandenbrink. That might be the move that makes the difference here, as that allows them to shift it around a little bit. Sockwell trying to get inside as well.
Well, Tommy Rape has been in all the shows this year. He has yet to take a checkered flag. His best finish was 2nd in the first race of the season. So for Tommy Rape, he's hungry to pick up the trophy.
Inside the Legends car community, winning at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Summer Legends Shootout Series is huge. No matter which division you are in, this is the biggest series within Legends car racing anywhere in the world at this point in time, and winning here is very prestigious.
For 2 big reasons. 1, it's on television. People all over the country see it. 2, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And Sockwell making a name for himself as he moves into 2nd place with the final lap yet to be run. It's going to get aggressive.
See if Brian makes a move here and tries to get to the inside of Tommy Ray.
Can't make it happen yet. The bumping happens as we come in and out of 3 and 4 to the checkered flag. Tommy Rape will win the final Pro Division race of the season, but the championship will go to the man who finished 7th. Car number 32B out of Huntersville, North Carolina, Greg Scholes wins the Pro Division championship. The Imperial back Sam Bass sponsored number 32B of Greg Scholes is your champion. Stay with us. We'll be back. of the Chargers division. So the Masters division will be the final crowning of the night. Punchy Whitaker and Al Mitchell on the first row, James Hines and Bray Carey in row 2. Barry Graham and Renee Dakota and Cotton Sprite Mike White, part of the 13 rows. Irwin and Simons and Henson and Barber. You saw Barber getting airborne last year, or last week. Hank's Heroes, the leader of the crew, Hank Jones in the 6th junior. Bill Berry out of California, now living back here racing Legends cars. Back to row 12, Lamont Brown and Steve Childers. And Dan Hamrick in the 0. Wrapping up the field.
Chatted with Jay Barber after we looked at the points here. Mike Hughes just 6 points back. This one should be very interesting if he wants to chase down Mr. White.
And a good fight for third as well.
We saw the opening there where Jay Barber's car basically got airborne. He just sliced through the field. Talked to him today, said the throttle hung up. Couldn't stop the car.
There is the Coors Valvoline IHOP Sports Design back number 7 of Mike White. Man who might be king at the end of this one.
Good sponsor.
Bray Carey way outside. Cuts it back in.
Mike White dives underneath it. Now Mike.
Battle of the mics here.
Mike has very little margin to work with here if he wants to make it back-to-back Masters championships.
The 5M is Mike Hughes, the man who is chasing him. See if we can figure out where everybody is on the racetrack right now. Al Mitchell.
We got to say this too for Mike White this year. He has battled back from being well back in points. He has had chronic back problems all year long. A couple of bulging discs that have really made it painful sometimes just to get into the race car.
Punchy Whitaker leads in the 64 as the yellow comes out. Now I will tell you there are 4 cars separating the 2 Mikes, and Mike White right there only needs to have 2 cars between him and Mike Hughes.
Yeah, Mike Hughes is back there behind the R22 of Jay Barber. There's Punchy Whitaker.
One of the leaders of the Pistone Posse.
One of the reasons that they've been able to, oh, it looks like one of the rumple strips. Won't that happen?
You said rumple?
I did.
I don't know, did you?
Yes, I did.
Would you say rumple or rumble?
During the evening.
Bray Carey, a huge supporter of West Virginia, graduate of the school, sporting a new helmet, blue with the West Virginia logo on it.
Good time to do that with the AD here.
Yeah, smart. Punchy Whitaker leading. I was just curious about the rumple. We always called them rumble out west. I wasn't sure if you guys called them rumple back here in the southeast. Maybe I just didn't. There's Barry Graham's the 43 car. Barry, one of the instructors at the Richard Petty driving experience, getting ready to, he's going to go to the new school in Vegas, isn't he?
I think so. Barry picked up a win here about 3 weeks ago.
Al Mitchell is who he's battling with in the 9 car. Al Mitchell's 11th in the points. Barry is 18.
And it looks like Barry has repainted that car. It has gotten more dazzling as the year has gone on. Everybody tonight was down there putting an extra coat of silicone on, shining them up. I think all the competitors knew this was their last chance to get out and shine on the track and have their cars look good at the same time.
Renee Dakota just in front of Mike White. Renee in the 14X is 5th in points. The 5M is back in 11th position, so Mike White in good shape at this point as he sits in 7th. Remember, he only has to finish 2 spots in front of him.
6-point differential and it's 3 points a pop, and Hank Jones is off in the grass.
If for some reason they tied, Mike White will win the championship due to the victories in the Summer Legends Shootout Series. And Mike Hughes is going to have to deal with Bray Carey, who is 7th in points. That's the first guy he's going to have to pass. And Bray getting a top 10 finish would be the best he has done in the series. He's not about to try to let anybody get around him and potentially finish outside the top 10. Now Punchy, on the other hand, he's 9th in points. This could help him maybe move up in front of James Hines, who is 8th, who's had a up and down summer.
Punchy is out here hunting for his 2nd victory of the season. He won race number 6 this year.
Here's Mike White in the 7th. And we're going to get you an interval back to the 5M. Right there.
It's a good ways back.
Just went
Not
through.
all that many cars, though. Mike White this year on route to what he hopes is his second championship has 3 second-place finishes and a victory. So stacking up those kind of numbers has got him poised to clinch the championship.
Well,
he has a large contingent. His daughter, his family, his whole group out here. Fingers crossed. They were an antsy bunch in the garage area today during the qualifying heats.
Mike White working on the 16 at Cotton Spry as Punchy starts lapping cars, including Dan Hamrick's 0. And I should tell you that Mike Hughes has gotten around brake carrying. So now 3 cars, actually now 2 cars separating those 2 drivers.
Well,
you can't afford any more than that.
He can get up to him. He can finish behind him. He's got to finish 2 cars in front of him. If it was the other way around, it'd be a little bit different story. But Mike White still has the cushion to work with because Hughes has to pass him and get at least 2 cars between himself and Mike White. So Mike's still in very good shape.
Sure, here I am trying to build the drama. You just let all the air out of the balloon. There he is. But now that you've heard Rice's explanation, so what?
Didn't want you barking up the wrong tree there for too
Thanks.
long.
Appreciate you watching out for me.
That's what I do.
Well, he's going to keep at it. He's not about to say give up. Mike Hughes, out of Atlanta, Georgia, been towing up I-85 on a weekly basis.
Mike messed his car up a little bit in one of the qualifying heat races today. He was down there thrashing on it right up until post time today.
That's a 3.5 to 4 hour tow each way every Tuesday night.
That's a long haul. Man, you got a glary eyed when you get back there. I'm tired getting out of the parking lot.
Telling you.
Back to Atlanta.
Mike White has gotten around Cotton Spry. So now there are 3 cars between them again. Bill Irwin is one of those as well in the 33, as there's going to be 8 laps left for Punchy Whitaker and the rest of the Masters Division. This is for all the competitors who are 40 years of age or older and consistently, Doug, one of the most exciting divisions in the Summer Legends Shootout Series.
I think a lot of these guys sometimes show a little bit more patience and not quite as anxious as maybe some of the younger drivers, although as we've gone through the season, I think we've seen a lot of maturity. Pretty clean racing tonight for the most part. We had one big incident.
I was going to say, this is also the division where we've seen guys rolling over. We've seen guys finishing backwards to claim wins.
Mike White working through lap traffic here, chasing that championship. And all Mike Hughes can do is hope something goes awry on the number 7 here in the closing laps.
Mike White is in 6th. Mike Hughes is in 10th. Trying to fight around Roger Simons.
Punchy Whitaker.
He's going to get him, maybe. Nope.
He is just looking for another trophy.
And another one of those very popular to the racer Food Line Summer Shootout Series hats that only go to winners of the different divisions here during the series. Can't find anywhere. Got to earn them.
To win those. It's going to be a good year for Hughes. He's had a victory. He's not had a victory this season. He has not won a race. His best finish was 2nd on the 2nd and 3rd races of the year.
Well, and I know you'd be frustrated if you won a championship anyway that way, knowing how you are feeling about that.
I'd probably give him the trophy back. No, I don't think so.
Punchy Whitaker closing in on it. 2 to go this time by. Punchy has a busy year. He had a rule named after him.
Probably forgot all about that now. He's turned this season around. Want to get him another check and a trophy. So name all the rules you want as long as you show me the checkered first.
Oh, look at Mike White slicing through traffic. This is a man hunting for a championship. One of those cars is John Smith. Captain John, who's had a busy year, was a points leader for quite a while.
He's won a couple of races.
Final lap for Punchy Whitaker.
Mike White's got to hold his breath for about another 15 seconds.
Checkered flag, the final one of the Masters Series for 1996 goes to Punchy Whitaker, but the championship goes to Mike White, who is the king of the Masters Division once again. championships have been wrapped up. We'll be back to talk to another king here in a few minutes.
I wouldn't be here. Thanks, Dr. Tom.
All right, that's the final word from Mike White.
And that really was big, getting his back in shape. As you look at the Charger division, we will have 2 feature races with the Chargers if we can get them in here tonight. First one will be a 12-lapper as you look at the grid. And a reminder that we do not keep points in the Chargers division. This is an area where you're supposed to be able to come in and learn how to go racing. If you do well, if you win 3 races here, you can choose any of the other 3 divisions, but you have got to move up.
Can't just stay down there and keep collecting hardware. They bump you on up with the big boys.
They're going to get a green here as they come back around. While we're waiting for them to do that, I think we got to give a big thumbs up to all the guys at 600 Racing for putting together another great Summer Legends Shootout Series. It is getting bigger and bigger and much, much better year in and year out. We've been doing it for 3 years now and can't wait for year number 4 as we go green with the Chargers.
David Stetzer, Todd Fisher, Jerry Gappins, whole PR crew here at Speedway, great job. And Ralph, while we hand out thank yous, as you get a good evidence, we have some awfully good camera people that bring us superb shots. I mean, this is the best big little show in town.
Absolutely true. The racing getting pretty good here in the Charger division. You see the 27 car. That's Randy Crowder in that white and yellow, number 27. Battle for third, brewing with the 84 and the 21. Tolliver Smith's in that 21 and Brian Lee's in the 84. 2 drivers who I wouldn't be surprised to see them moving up anytime soon.
That'll be next year. They'll graduate out of the. We're gonna have to.
Oh, we got 2 together big time over in turn 3, hooked up on top of each other.
Hello.
One is a 29 that.
And the other one is one of the WCW cars.
That's the 29. That Richard Carter. And the number 9.
Number 9. Number 9.
Well, I would think it's Tom Hayden, but I didn't think so.
Tom had his primary car was wrecked, so he may be in a backup here tonight.
Well, this car had a little bit of flame coming out of the engine bay, but he's out and okay. We're going to straighten it out. We'll be back right after this break to complete some more Charger Division racing here at Charlotte. Greg Lawrence in the 95 leads, but he's being hounded by Sean Parker in the 44 and the 84 of Brian Lee. Now, Sean Parker works for Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford team, Penske Racing South effort, and Sean was telling me that apparently Rusty has been watching every Tuesday night, finding out as much as he can about Legends car racing because his younger boy wants in Legends cars in a big way.
Bring them all.
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I made that investment. My son Barry's out here. We got a car tonight. We didn't run it. It wasn't really set up to go, but so Rusty, get off a little of that loot and get your boy one of these cars. He probably laid back in the bed watching this, but oh, there's a little spin down here in turn 2.
Yes, there is. We've got another one around, the 28 car.
But what's new?
That's right, Charles Guest. I'm not going to go there. I'll let you set that one up, Jeff.
Oh, no, these boys spin a lot, and that's all part of this Legends racing.
That's right. That's right. Here's a good look at Sean.
Sean's a little loose off the corners. He's a little slow, and he's got a good solid second, but I don't know if he has anything for that boy in first.
You know who else wants in on a Legends car that has ties in the Winston Cup world? Martha Nemechek, Joe Nemechek's mom. She told me that she's trying to talk Papa Joe into buying her a car so she can come out here and play. I think that means that Joe and John have to come out and take pictures of her everywhere because she does of everything they do.
Shine her car up.
Absolutely.
She's kept a film company in business. There's Barry Graham, 43. Looks like the lead's fairly well in hand, about a 3-car length difference here.
Challenge charging down in the corner. He's trying to get up in there. He's right there now.
He's going to make a run at him.
Yeah.
Coming to the checkered flag, not enough. Rusty, you're going to have to buy a Legends car and get your team spruced up. Sean's out here, needs a little help from the rest of the Penske South crew.
We've got one more Chargers feature to go, but Greg Lawrence is the winner of this one. Stay with us. We're going to find out a little bit about the U.S. bobsled team when we come back. We've got one more Chargers division feature for you. 12 laps are already circulating around as you take a look at the grid for our final race of the 1996 Summer Legends Shootout Series. And Jeff, one quick chance while we're looking at the grid here. What's up with the bobsled team? How's that going?
It's going great. Their guys are working out right now, getting ready for the winter. The sleds are being prepared, and we're really have high hopes for this winter. And of course, in 2 years we'll be in Japan for the Olympics, and we expect to win some medals. I don't usually guarantee things, but I guarantee our fellows will win some medals the next Winter Olympics. And if anyone wants to help, just call 1-800-BOBSLED. We do need that help. It costs a lot of money to run these bobsleds.
Well, it costs some money to run a Legends car, and when you spin them into the infield like the 24 here, sometimes it can cost you even more. That's Grant Lockwood. For those of you that don't know, as you watch the number 60 leading here, Kurt Andrews, who's been out front. There goes the 28 car around now.
That's who I believe.
Oh, man.
He just lost the right front tire.
That was John Burwell.
And did not Mal Pollard do that very same thing last week?
Almost the same identical spot.
It wasn't with the same car though, was it? With the 28?
I don't. Well, this is John Burwell, the 29.
I mean,
and Mal Pollard quickly being attended to here.
Let me tell you something. I've driven these things, and we've got one now, and I sit in these things. I have trouble seeing out of the front of these things, and that might be a problem here. I don't really know, but I'm not trying to make excuses or tell you what happened, but I have trouble seeing across over the hood, and this is a hard hit.
Sure was.
And it's like he should have seen that.
You would think.
Yeah.
Tough lick there from Mal Pollard, our buddy from Australia, and looks like Burwell's okay here as they're coming out and quickly checking on him. Got some EMTs out there.
Well, they're going to put the Tommy hook on him and
giving them something to shoot for this year. Championship trophies as you take a look at our divisional championships, and congratulations to all these guys. Wayne Austin, Greg Schultz, and Mike Wyke. He's got 2 big championship trophies now, and he had an uphill battle all year long, and he paid off here.
Guys, as always, our entire camera crew, you guys are the best in providing Legends car racing coverage. Uncle Ken, you did a great job as always. Mike Moore, one of the best as always. Eric Swearingen and Jeff Montoni, those 4 guys are the ones who have been in control of this season from down in the truck all summer long. They've done a great job. For my buddies Mark Garrow and Doug Rice, I wouldn't do it with anybody else. Rice, you keep me laughing all the time. I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Can't wait for the summer of 1997. Gosh, it's so far off.